Alright, we're back. It's gonna be round 3, it's gonna start. The thing is, my computer just crashed because I was doing too many things at the same time, so I'm just trying to rejoin all the things, and yeah, it's I'm just trying to keep up now because my computer just crashed, so I'm gonna try to come back. They have started the game. It's gonna be Chrome plus Rayhan partners against Psy Master Forterist, and right now I'm just going to join Cockatrice, connect. I'm going to join. This joining entry. All right, I'm in, guys. Please wait a little more, and we are live again. Sorry for the convenience. I just had a fucking computer crash to deal with, and I'm back. Oh, I got a proposal from a judge to speak English with me, and alright, I think I'm gonna add someone I don't know to this chat, because I've been offered by the tournament organizers to have one person streaming in English with me. So I just want to check my configuration right now. Yeah, I got desktop audio. So I'm gonna call the guy on Discord, and I hope the voice is going to be perfect for everyone. And I hope it's going to work too. And in the meantime, what do we have? We have Chrome Rayhan. So you guys know about Chrome, the 4/4 fly haste that makes you draw an extra turn during each opponent's turn when they draw a second card, and Rayhan just displaces +1/+1 counters when dying or going to the command zone. So applies to him and the other cards as well. So it's basically a creature-heavy combo-ish deck that relies on playing creatures fast like Mana Dorks, like this Deathrite Shaman, of course, and good tough creatures like Reclamation Sage, Felbush. It's just alright. So alright. Oh. Just try, I'm just losing a little time to explain how to tell the people. I need to tell the guy how to join the Go-Getters game. Alright, so I might have a companion on the way through chatting with me. I don't know the guy, I absolutely don't know the guy, but I suppose Alright, the guy's coming. So this time, as you could say, there's nothing left, nothing much to talk about. Sai is just relying on playing cheap artifact spells, and the rest is just obvious for all of you guys. Fiddle Push is going to get rid of this side Mouth of Sorceress pretty easily. If they find a fetch land, of course, something needs to go to graveyard. And Songs of the Dread is the one and only enchantment that they played. The one and only enchantment in their pack is Songs of the Dread. I don't even think they are playing. I don't even think they are playing. Let me check, because I need a triple, quadruple, if not pentuple check. I think the Ray and Rayhan players doesn't play Survival of the Fittest, for example. 35 creatures. Yeah, one enchantment is just Songs of the Dread. They play 3 artifacts, 4 artifacts, Lightning Greaves, Imizawa's GT, Sorcerer's Spyglass, and Winter Orb. That's basically the only things they are playing in this game. And Sai Master Flutterist is a pretty usual list that you could just expect. It plays lots of banned cards like Urza or Emery, for example, but it's fine as long as they are in the deck. It's close to be fine. Urza is actually really powerful, so yeah, they do play a lot of those cards. I'm just gonna check if the other guy is able to join. No, not yet. He's not able to join the chat. Hold on, I'm just trying to tell the guy how to play. So how to come to Gedris. Alright, so we have a surprise guest that is not someone I know, but is gonna try to join. So I just have to Alright, so the guy is joining. Sorry for the small not talking. So meanwhile, someone is doing something. What is it? Mishra's Bubble. Oh, yeah. So Questing Beast is attacking, like I say, it's good stuff, aggro. Okay. right, the guy's in.
Hey, he's gone.
Hello. Name's William, by the way. I hope you can hear me well. I'm gonna try to broadcast you and add you to the things. So usually, normally people should hear you on the stream as well.
Yeah.
So what's your name, by the way? System Play Lost.
System Player Lost. Yeah, I'm Mackenzie, or you can call me Mac.
Mac. All right, that's a good thing. I'll be PC and you'll be Mac, right?
All right, let's do it.
This is a bad joke. Don't worry. I'm just trying to make bad jokes. Like, so yeah, we're live and I'm broadcasting the thing. So you can see the game right now on the right. If you really need, I can show you the deck lists if you need them. I got the links I can show you, and it's all right. So we're live and people can hear you. I'm more than certain of this. So hello, Mike.
Hello. Let's talk about some EDH or a commander, I guess.
Yeah, dual commander. And just before we start something, I have to say my computer just crashed like shit. Which never happens in between game 2 and game 3. So I was in a pretty good rush. So it's at some point you got no answer and you see me off the stream. The high chance that I'm just crashing again. That's unusual, right?
Twitch chat says lots of echo on me.
Yeah, I have to lower your voice, actually. I just when you just joined, I put the volume to the maximum, which was stupid. And if you need the chat, I'm just going to sound you. I remind you where the chat is, when the live is, if you need to see. But just, I'm sorry, just quoted the chat, so you saw the chat. Good.
It's all good. Yeah, so I really like this format. My
Thanks.
fiance is French, and I played a bit maybe like 5 years ago.
Where are you from?
And Australia.
Oh my goodness! My cousin's sister is married in Australia right now, so she went there. So got pretty good news from that. And my aunt just came back from Australia to see her granddaughter for the first time in history. So yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And yeah, so you're in Australia right now. How wonderful is the internet right now?
No, I'm actually in Paris right now.
You're in France. All right, you're switching in between countries.
Yeah. So we moved here a couple of months ago.
How is it to go to a civilized country where you don't have fucking epic animals trying to kill you all the times?
Well,
we do have dangerous animals, but not the same as you do in Australia.
Yeah. Well, we just traded like cockroaches for moths. I've been fighting away the moths coming in from outside the last couple of days. But,
also, when another part of the dual commander committee, another member is has his older brother married in Australia as well. So he goes once every 2 years there, and he was like, "Don't tell me." I was just they live in an apartment in Sydney on the 4th floor, and I was like on the 4th floor taking some fresh air, or fresh air quotes air, on the evening because it was pretty hot, and I had my hand on the this how do you say so in English, the things you prevent from falling, and on the balcony. Yeah, on the rail on the balcony, and it was like, what the fuck, huge spider, yeah, huge spider. It's normal, right?
Yeah. You get used to it once you've grown up there, right? But,
and so, talking about dangerous animals, Rayhan Chrome is lots of dangerous animals. I don't know if you've seen the lists. I can send you the list if you want to. It's not.
That'd be cool. I'm pretty familiar with the formats. I've done a lot of research on what's played. So I think the Rayan Chrome is very much a sort of more green-based, aggressive strategy.
Yeah. I've sent it to you on Discord. So as you can see, it's pretty, I would say for the people who are familiar with Timnah Threzios, this is just, I think, one of the lists that comes the most close to Timnah Threzios. So meanwhile, what the fuck happened? So Monkan hasn't conceded. So I need to update the scores while we are talking. Also, I didn't update the names because I was rejoining. Moncana 0, 1, Mr. Monopoly. I'm just going to invert. Well, that's okay. Mr. Monopoly. Yeah, didn't make any mistakes while typing. Cool. So yeah, I need
to see the Urza in the hand of the side player here. Obviously, he's just taking a mulligan on the one land hand, but
yeah.
I find very often in Commander that you have these commander bannings, and obviously Urza would have been the best commander for this side deck, but they find their way into these decks as well, right?
Well, the good thing about Urza and stuff is that Urza and Emery are banned. Sai is not banned right now. It's just not. I don't say fair or nothing. I wouldn't like to talk in the name of everyone, but it's decent. It's not crushing and overwhelming, and it's not cheating with the commander zone actually, which is a problem. And it's not overwhelmingly good like Urza, which is not cheating with the commander zone, but still a little borderline, as you could see on the last ZAP Masters this July, where on the top 16 there were 12 Urza. Lord High Artificer, and 12 is approximately 11 too much actually. I would say 10 too much, 10 too much, but yeah, it was. I mean, the thing is, just a reminder about that, because everyone's going to discuss the bans all the time, and I would just answer preemptively to what people could ask. If we decide to cut all the cards before they get played, like, oh my goodness, a fucking author companion or whatever it is, if you just said there's just a wink to the next cards that are going to go in Courier, if you just have those cards out and you say this is structurally bad for the format, we just remove it. You got half the community saying, hey, we never get to play it. Come on, how do you know it's unfair? I never have a proof. I only believe in what I see. And it's, come on, please. You really, you just try it. Yeah, try it. It's insane, but we didn't have the time to. So, okay. And the other way is, okay, the card is insane. Play it.
You let people play with it.
And then 1 month and 2 months later, please, help me. And you say, all right, we're just going to remove the card because we were pretty much aware that it was going to be. And it's always hard because in history we got examples of quick bans. For example, 1 month bans were because the timing changed. Wizards changed the timing of their announcements. Wizards changed the timing upon which they release cards with mostly the draftable editions like Conspiracy and Conspiracy Take the Crown.
And so on,
and those things are completely chaotic. You know, we cannot follow the pace of Wizards of the Coast. We could follow the pace if we had the cards in advance and such, but we are not Wizards of the Coast, so we're just victims like everyone. And for this, I'm just going to repeat that we decided to not follow Wizards of the Coast's latest changes because the net decking, to me, that's not everyone's style, but that's mine. The net decking is changing so fast that formats are solved by 1 week. And especially when Wizards of the Coast does card releases, it's not spoiler, it's just card releases, just communication, right? They just reveal the cards before they are buyable. So people have all the time they want to prepare. Like if you were on Cockatrice right now, I could just show you any of the decks, any other games that are played right now. If you go to multiplayer, you will see everyone is playing a companion already. The cards are not available to them virtually before 2 weeks. 3 weeks actually, 2 weeks, 2 weeks and a half, and not available to them on paper before 1 month and a half. And yet everyone's just like overly hyped with playing the new thing. So people are just solving formats and solving everything like in weeks, if not days right now. And I'm supposing that AI is going to be helping very soon. So
yeah, that would be cool to see.
Yeah.
It's a little bit harder though for a format like Dual Commander because we're looking at 99 card main decks. There's obviously a lot more variance there. So if you're comparing it to say like a standard where you're playing 60 cards, 4 of every card, you need to play a lot more games, like a lot more games of sample size to really determine if a card is good or not. Or I mean, we can obviously expand that to very good or broken or whatever.
And the question is, how can humans actually be doing so, right? People do, and when you realize they do, but they got no better clue than a computer, you're pretty fucked up. So I also work a little, not a lot, but just a little in the world of AI. I'm just a web developer right now, but I just keep a very strong eye on AI and intelligence. I'm a strong transhumanist person, and I read a lot about these people. I'm right now reading a book on neuroscience and intelligence by Richard Heyer and stuff. And let me tell you, nobody knows how you build good AIs, and sometimes nobody knows how the AIs work. We just build them, and they are already slowly starting to be out of hand. So the question is, we are doubling computer power each and every 2 years, and there's no way that within 10 years you cannot have computers solve a standard format or any format of Magic the Gathering in one night, if not 1 hour. It looks like insane, but the way you could test cards is not going to be what you think. You were not supposed to test anything. You were not supposed to test good or bad cards. You could just add the cards one by one and filter some of them. You could just have many ways to just figure out what is good or not. So I just need to remove this card hand so they can see it. I'm going to display the graveyards too on the stream. And this is actually insane. So whatever, I'm just closing all this parentheses to say Wizards has changed the way they released announcements regarding BNRs right now because they cannot keep up to their own pace. So the thing is, we cannot do this. We cannot have this. We are not responsible in mastering the time and the timelines when Wizard releases some new stuff. So what we have to do is we chose to keep the 4 announcements per year because the main source of updates is really the 5, I would say the 4 to 6 editions that are out per year, the 4 normal standard new rotating editions for standard, and 2 promotional editions like Commander and a draft Legacy Eternal Only, whatever it is, edition 2, or Modern Masters, for example. Which was a problem too this year, and we cannot follow this pace. So we just chose to have 4 announcements per year at fixed dates. It's always the last year of February, May, August, and November. So this time you don't even get surprised. And right now, this means that people will get to play. And I'm closing all the parentheses that I opened 5 minutes ago. People will get to play every card for at least 1 month and a half. What people call emergency bans, a statement we did on French forums officially, but we didn't have the time and we just forgot to do it on the main page regarding emergency bans. And every time there's going to be a broken card, of course some people are going to notice it and say, oh, this is broken, I hope it's going to be banned. And I had some pretty how to say, reaction heavy, intense feedback. So people are just sometimes going overhyped and don't understand. And regarding the next edition, I will just say Magic is changing. It's always been changing, and what the R&D has been doing for years is just challenge their assumptions. If you were a designer of Magic the Gathering right now, how much could you be creative? I mean, how many new things have we not seen? New permanent types that would not be the ones we know right now. Like very few mechanics. Like we haven't seen land tokens, for example, that just maybe would leave the battlefield at the end of turn or something. We have seen there are still very few mechanics that we haven't seen so far that implemented in Magic. So they have to be creative, and they just add a lot of things. So sometimes
it's really interesting to think about this idea of how far you can push Magic design, right?
Yeah. If you know the team, especially Mark Water and people like that, they've been doing this since the dawn of Magic. Some of the people who are there are still here 25 years after, and they still invent things, and it's still a game. Even though there are billions of dollars behind this, it's still a game. So if people don't enjoy each other, they're just going to drown. So they get some heavy backslash on some bad editions, and right now they're just trying to they just push the format a little too far to be easy to play. So the thing is, when you create cards for casual players, kids, whatever you want it to be, you also have to think some adults are going to play this. And for example, Oko, Thief of Crowns, had a very strong flavor, was the edition emblem, it was printed on the boxes, on the boosters and everything. And I think someone at some point just forgot to say, hey, what if we just give these weapons that a kid can handle to adults, what's going to happen? And people say it's going to crush tournaments. How much Brawl is over? How much Standard is over? How much Modern is over? How much it's reaching Legacy? Stop it, kill it before it breeds! And
it won the vintage MKM in January in Paris as well. So
that's crazy. That's crazy. It's playable in all formats. It's just got the perfect stats. And it plays with sensitive parts of Magic, blue creatures, generating creatures, artifacts, and this is a good example why right now everything's very tense and people are like on this format where investment is a thing, like Commander Eternal in general. That's not good. That's not true. All the formats are investment heavy. If you want to play Standard, you just put a few. Hundreds,
like a couple of €100.
Yeah.
Most of the formats,
if you're just like me and you want to play Commander 2 and keep the PIM cards and you want everything to be full Russian or full Korean, and it's going to cost a couple hundreds per year, but there's always a good investment because I have to say, years after, my collection is just so much valuable. I didn't refund myself, but you should see. It's not the topic right now. I have a Kyranos deck on Dual Commander that is completely foreign foil pimped.
Nice.
I hate misprints. I like misprints, but I'm not running after them. I could have lots of them, but that's too expensive and too stupid. And the pack, I just keep track of how much the pack is worth. And all I can say is it's over 9,000 right now, like DBZ and Dragon Ball would say. It's you put the glass and say, oh my god, it's over 9,000. It is over 9,000 dollars, pounds, euros, whatever you want it to be. And I didn't put this money on it. I just took the time. Like there's a debate right now. People say, what should we do with expensive and unfindable cards? What should we do with Bazaar of Baghdad, for example? And I have to say, I never stopped playing these fucking cards. It's insane. There's always a good format to play. So if you look at the next edition, have you looked at Real? The new commander that is a 0/3, gets +1/+0 for each sorceries and instant in your graveyard?
No, not yet.
And when you discard a card, you drew a card.
Okay, seems good.
So you get a Bazaar of Baghdad, and you got Lion's Eye Diamond. You for 0, you get 3 mana, you crack it, you discard your hand, so you just draw in your hand. And it's crazy. What should we do with those cards? It's a long story. So I think we're a little off topic and we're not paying attention to the game. I mean, I'm looking at the game right now. All I see is a 2 name nemesis, but it's actually fine. And the game is tense right now because something is strange. Why do I not have the Murderous Rider? I just downloaded all the sets and I don't have the Murderous Rider on my screen.
Huh. Well, I think everyone watching probably knows what Murderous Rider does, right?
Yeah. Everyone remembers, right? Murderous Rider and Swift Sand is a creature with an adventure. It's an instant adventure and a sorcery speed creature. That's a 2/3 lifelink. A knight, I think. Remember, knight and that's all. Knight,
I think, right? Yeah.
Is it a zombie? I don't think so. Is it a zombie? Maybe it's a zombie.
I have it here. It's zombie knight. Yep.
Zombie knight. And Swift Hand is the same cost, black and generic mana, and you just destroy instantly speed target creature or planeswalker. And probably one of the new additions. Probably one of the new additions. I don't know what new cards have been added to this list. I'm just gonna check. So for the Rayon Chrome list, I think Hex Drinker from Modern Horizon. That's already been 1 year ago. So yeah, Grim Flayer, no. Robber of the Rich was added from. I mean, what could we expect? This list plays Leovold, Emissary of Trest, and Robber of the Rich. That's all I can say. Is it coherent? No, it's not.
No, but it's also just playing some of the more powerful effects that you can find at 1, 2, 3, 4 mana, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're playing these colors, you can play just about every efficient, powerful creature and try to just have the more powerful cards than your opponents.
Yeah, it's just playing some good stuff, card advantage, slightly aggressive, not really mid range. It's good in the mid range, but the high of the curve, the top of the curve is really low. Actually,
I think it's
there's
just Chrome, right? Like the commander is the highest, and you're
yes,
trying to play everything
under five,
under
yeah.
5. Yeah.
The mandatory two best planeswalkers, three planeswalkers: Liliana, the Veil, Chandra, Torture Defiance, and Jade My Sculptor.
And
Questing,
Oko, right?
Questing Beast. You say what?
And Oko, right? We spoke about him before.
Yeah, yeah, and Oko, right? And Oko. Even though in Commander, I would slightly be tempted to say Oko is close. That's always. I know some people in the committee who just think Oko is better than the other ones, and I think it's slightly under because maybe I'm just thinking too much playability right now, just because it's green blue, so you cannot play it everywhere. But I may be wrong. So
In the decks where you can play it, I think negating someone's commander, like just making it a 3/3, as long as you have ways that you can, uh, make sure that that 3/3 doesn't die or whatever, you've essentially stopped them playing commander, right? Now they're
yeah,
just
that's
playing like a singleton 90 card deck. So yeah, I think it's obviously a very strong card. Whether or not it's bannable, as you're saying, given the color restrictions, is another
yeah.
conversation.
Green blue doesn't really. I mean, I'm not even sure that people who play Team Nathrasius automatically include this, for example.
I think they do.
I think now they do, but it's not mandatory for everyone because they focus more on creature damage. But they got so many slots that are exchangeable.
Lots, right?
Yeah, so they got some liberty. We saw Euro on game one, for example. Euro was a good candidate for this.
Yep.
Timna plus Frasius. Let's see. I'm trying to find some recent lists. I don't even think my friend on the committee plays it. I think he plays it. I'm not sure. Yeah, there's an Oko in the deck. I think it's starting to get auto include right now.
Yeah.
If your deck doesn't have a very specific combo plan, that would be just forbid it. It's clear. I mean, I play Bent, but I don't play Oko because I play Enchantress, so I don't have a place for this. But
yeah, too many slots filled with synergistic cards, right?
Yeah, I got the whole rest of Magic the Gathering that could be in perfectly foiled foreign, just waiting in sleeves, and it didn't pass the cut. So I just had so many of them, and they were like, "Please play me!" And Oko is like, "Hello, am I a joke to you?" And no, you don't have the time. There's no Jays, there's no. It's yeah, I don't even play Wasteland in the deck, but that's a weird thing too. People say, "You don't?" Yeah, I don't need to. I don't want to. It's not that crazy, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
so I have a question for you here. So, what tools do you think Sai has available to deal with this true name nemesis with Umazai's Jite? Because I think it's a big problem here.
the question is, who is not true name nemesis a problem to? I don't think it's a problem for. I think it's a problem for pretty much everyone. It's got protection from everything. It can be bounced with the. Do they play the fantastic bounce thing that just bounces? No, they don't. They don't. So the previous deck. Not further recollection. It's you count your islands. Engulf the Shore.
Yeah. That's
yeah. The first deck we saw today was playing Engulf the Shore, for example. I mean, if you want to race, no, there's nothing valuable
I'm just
to
looking
race.
at this exact position that we have right now. So it's attacking here for could be up to 7, which makes it a lethal attack next turn. And Sai, I think, has some activations available for drawing cards, so we can sacrifice the Sopters after attacking. There's blockers for Master of Ethereum. It seems like the Sai player is in a very rough spot here.
I think there's no answer in this deck right now. the best thing he could wish for is not to be attacked or just tapped on a spring left drum to make mana, actually. Which is not, it is some very explicit bourgeois mana, you know, like tapping a true name Nemesis to get some mana, like that's really bold. Yeah, because everything that handles creatures is a targetable condition, like Maze of Thief, like they just consider right. They could go maybe for a Tezzeret X-ray turn. There's no X-ray turn either now, but I don't think there's a close to decent solution. They could just shut down the Major Wazite on the other side. That would be a thing. How to do so? That's a good idea. It's a good question.
Maybe just some bounce effects to save some turns, but you're still not dealing with the ultimate problem because you need to draw enough cards to find your answer.
And only enough. They could also they could also play. The answer is they could play True Name Nemesis and Mr. West GT and assemble and attack too, and trying to gain life. You know, to be I'm just getting life because GT is +2/+2. And GD is to get 2 life gains. So as long as they just attack each other, it's just about how much life the True Name Nemesis powers down by itself. So you could just negate your opponent's GT by attacking with your own GT. And yes. Alright, so that was anyway, that was the end of the game 2. So I'm gonna have to give you the access to game 4 now, but it's not gonna start for a few turns, I think. Let me check it.
It's not the same password.
Nope. We just change the password all the time for each game. So you see it in the lobby. There's and I'm not going to dictate the password by speech right now. I am pasting it on live on tournament, but it's okay. And I have to give you privately the password, which is without the quotes, as I should say. This one.
Cool.
And I have to check the times. What is it going to be? I think I got the. I don't have a schedule. Do you have a time schedule? I think I got a Google Doc where I got the time schedule. They just agreed to not start ahead of time, just to because like for example, I think the next player, Adrien Solesoni is a guy who just asked on the chat this morning, do I have to be there at 3
like the
p.m.
whole day or just
because he said he was here with family, so he said he probably had a small confinement of the top thing, so he's probably with his family right now exceptionally, and I think he's gonna play
Easter this weekend. For some people that are religious, they might have.
It's not the majority of people in France, as you can guess, but yeah, it's just also an extended weekend because we don't work on Monday. So yeah. So the next game is gonna be Kenrith 5 color against Brago 2 color, because I never remember how many Kenrith and Brago are there.
4 mana 2/4 flying, right? And then you can flicker some permanents when it attacks.
Say 2/4, yeah. you just flickering whatever you wanted to do, and non-land permanents, and you have to target them. So I think that Shroud is prohibitive, but it's anything, and also it's bringing them back to their owner's control. So if you take control of something, you have to give it back.
Cool.
So yeah.
So, what do you think of this matchup? What are you expecting?
So Brago, I'm gonna add the post screen for the stream right now. So it's Brago against, what did I say already? Is Kenrith. Whoa, that is stupid. Wow. How many kind of spells are there in Brago? I don't think there are that many.
It's more like a permanent synergy deck, right?
I
You
would
want to be trying to
say,
get as much
for,
value out of your commander as
yeah,
possible.
for example, if Brago plans turn to Meddling Mage, naming either the Commander or Lion's Eye Diamond or Oyok Salvagers, it's gonna be tough because
Tough?
they can defend it.
Yeah.
Um, what I can say is the curve is much higher. I mean, dual commander based higher than Kenriff's curve, despite the looks. It's more yeah. I'm just looking at the mana curves of both decks. Yeah,
So what do we?
clearly, I could show you the mana curves on stream, everyone, but if I count the cards, 25 cards that cost 1 and 23 cards that cost 2 for Kenrith, and only 9 cards that cost 3 and then no one, then nothing else. And the cards on Brago's side is 18 that cost 1, 21 that cost 2, and 13 that cost 3, then 4, then 5, and 6. 4 and 5, not 6. So
Much lower curve, right?
yeah, it's consistently lower. I mean, yeah. But it's 5 colors, so you still have to reach your 5 colors because you get them easily. But if you don't have a land that creates 5 colors, a Mana Confluence or City of Brass or stuff, you're still running after your colors for 3 turns. You still need basically 3 lands to have 5 colors.
Yeah, for sure. And I just wonder, what are we going to be expecting from these players? Like, is the Brago player going to have more of a proactive game plan here to try and slow down or stop the Kenrith player from completing his plan and then getting in small bits of damage and trying to sort of win the game on the clock? Or
all I can say, you want a deck list, right? You don't have a deck list. You want to have deck lists?
yeah, that would be cool.
That would be. We should keep the deck lists a talk for when the game starts. I think actually, but I mean, I'm very procedural like a guy, you know. But that's the first deck list, and second one is. You need to click on English on top. Sorry, I just didn't provide.
That's cool.
You just add change local in English, like this one.
That's cool. I know almost all of these cards just by the pictures anyway.
Yeah, it's a French site, but if you just go, it says Anglais, Français en haut, and you can on top, and you can just click on Anglais, which is English in French, and you just got the cards in English. And I would say there's some ahead of curve kind of spell and control for Brago. Source to Pusher, Monetize, Spell Snare, Force Spike are good. Force of Will, probably. It's Force of Will, Force Negation, maybe. Remand Negate. That's
we're looking at
that's
maybe
good.
like 10 or 15 permission spells out of the blue-white deck.
Yeah. Then everything that passes through is a problem. Also, Kenrith does not rely on permanents. He's playing 5 creatures, 1 planeswalker, and 6 artifacts that you absolutely don't care about. You don't want to destroy. Even Lion's Eye Diamond, if you destroy it, it's just going to come back. So,
but there is 1 critical enchantment, right?
And 1 critical enchantment. I mean, it's all about reaching infinite mana and then using it in an absurd way. So you got 2 ways to do so. Either you just use your commander, so you just get infinite mana of any color, so you just pump +1/+1, then haste trample. So whatever you do, it's going to kill you. Even if you got a Nemesis with 1,000 GDs on it, you still win. And otherwise, the other combo is where is it? The post. How to say? What's the name in English? I need to remember. It's grinding station. Yeah, grinding station. That's the other kill. That's one of the other kills. Grinding station. So you just sacrifice an artifact to mill for 3, and if your opponent does not play the Eldrazi's Battle Shuffle, that leads to a win. So Also, the deck plays some very overly aggressive cards that are old school classics for combo decks. Abeyance, Orim's Chant, Silence, and I think there's another one somewhere. They are playing. I think no, there's few ones.
Swarm, maybe? No, Xanted Swarm.
No, it's not a creature-based deck, so Xantian Swarm is not at stake. No, I think it's all. They're playing Sivin's Reclamation to just bring the combo back in the case it would just fail. And the rest, the whole fucking rest, is just about draw discard. It's just frantic search effects like Faithless Looting, Brain Freeze, Mental Knot, Thought Scour, Limdu's Vault, even some cards we haven't seen for a while like Diabolic Vision. Diabolic Vision comes from a very, very dated era, from Ice Age. Card was out in 95, 94, I think, 95.
Very old.
What? Oh, they're playing. They're gonna start playing. That's in French in the chat that says hello mom, I'm on TV.
Yeah.
Of course the guys are in the French chat of Twitch right now, so they probably could see each other's hands, but it's just a fun tournament, so we're asking people not to. I don't know, but I think those guys are probably the guys who could just look at each other's hand, but I'm not gonna.
Let's assume they're not doing that.
Yeah. Because I'm saying this because both of them talked in the Twitch chats today, so yeah.
Oh.
1995 for Ice Age, and I have to bring the game back. So let's go back to game 4. Yeah, it's game 4 already. What time is it? Is it game
5:40?
I don't remember what time is it. Is it game 4 already? We've seen Euro Arena, Heliod Guess, Cyber and Chrome. Yeah, the last game was 2. And we were supposed to start at 5:30. Actually, I'm pretty surprised because I think I just fooled myself. We just all because Cockatrice usually and live playing on free software games like Cockatrice that just doesn't control anything are just usually very, very fast. But when you want to control the rules and state everything and do it properly, you have to actually write more and do more than you would do on Magic Online or Magic Arena, for example. So you, in the end, take some more time when you do this. Definitely. So, players kept hands with Mulligan on top, I suppose, and keep on bottom.
We've seen that Meddling Mage turn 2 that we were talking about at the start.
Yeah, that could be a thing. Daze could be a thing, but that's too dangerous to Daze on turn 1 because you're pretty far behind. And one of the most complicated things when you play combo is Dark Ritual, actually, because Dark Rituals enables really, really fast starts. Balance is also crazy. Balance is not part of the deck, it's just a deck by itself. So Solsony on the bottom can just play like complete crap dump, throw everything in the dustbin and then go, oops, balance! That's a risk. That's a risk.
Yeah, and it's I think the only card in a deck which can deal with opposing creatures en masse, right? So there's no Wrath of God or Damnation effects.
You're not supposed to reach them, actually, I think. And also, the hardest thing is if you want to rely on the commander, you have to bring it to the battlefield first, and the commander still costs 5, so you still have to reach 5 mana, and that's one of the problems of the deck. So usually that is just going to find the combos faster. Meddling Mage could actually be naming the commander right now. It would stop half the thing, but I think New Trader knows perfectly what the other players are playing, so he's gonna name Meddling Mage, and he could also name the Lotus. I think the Lotus, the
Breach. Underworld Breach.
The Diamond, sorry.
Oh, Lion's Eye, yeah.
Yeah, Lion's Eye, because actually now he goes for the Breach. All right, he goes for Breach because Breach allows to stupidly replay everything else. It's a infinite, potentially infinite Yawgmoth's Will. So
Yeah, it can also be used at the start of the combo to set up some other tutor effects and filter effects to try and find the rest of the pieces. So if you're saying Lion's Eye Diamond, usually you have to have everything for Lion's Eye Diamond to be a critical piece of the combo. Whereas if you have Underworld Breach, you can play it and then, if you have enough mana, play some other stuff from your graveyard to find the Lotus after
Yeah,
that.
you don't need Breach to win the game. Actually, you can win without it.
Yeah.
It's just easier for everything is synergic in the pack, so you can just add everything. The deck has a number of tutor that is just beyond understanding. Like it's being Dimir Infiltrator. It's is crazy. Goblin Engineer to bring everything back. Spell Sinker, Trinket Mage, Wishclaw Talisman. Dark Blast is used as a tutor too, because it's got rage and you can just put everything to the graveyard.
Yeah. And also, dealing with one toughness creatures can be quite effective. There are a few cards that I can think of, like Phyrexian Revoker, that would break your combo.
Yeah, we just saw
Uh,
a good number of them last game actually with Rayon Chrome.
yeah. So it can be nice to have those secondary or non-standard uses for those cards, right?
That was an intense turn.
Mm.
All right, the new trader says he's just reading the card, so I think he just didn't read the Wishclaw Talisman. Those people all know each other very well, so I'm not sure they don't know about the actual lists. Like, for example, when so Kenrith, he instantly named Bridge, so he probably played the deck more than once. So, also, right now, both players have pretty poor hands, actually. Enlightened Tutor is not the best one you could hope for. Balance is not really doing much here. Just sacrificing the Meddling Mage, maybe. It's not going to be doing much more than this.
There is actually interesting options here where we look at um, using Reclamation to return the Underworld Breach to play, which gets through the Meddling Mage.
Yeah.
There's another option where you can, with Lion's Eye Diamond, play the Lion's Eye Diamond, use it for mana, and then use that mana to flashback the Reclamation to bring back the Lion's Eye Diamond and something else. So it looks like the Kenrith, with this combination of the Reclamation, the Enlightened Tutor, maybe one other tutor or another powerful combo card, could set up a win here.
Yeah, they could still go through this. They also got Goblin Engineer to bring back something similarly to this. If he didn't name Breach, for the artifacts, it could just be the same. You just bring it back to play, and you don't have to play it. But
is this a Kenrith with Dark Ritual?
Yeah, that was. I think that was the only thing he could do actually. So. Also, the thing is, he doesn't have green, so he's not going to find green for a long time. So, and it's good that the commander only costs white when you want to cast it.
So, and a 5/5 is quite strong here. The 19 points of damage coming through from this commander attacking. Breaker's hand doesn't really have many ways to deal with this Kenrith. We might see a Snapcaster Mage coming to flash back the Cancels Judgment at some point. But yeah, he's down on lands due to the earlier exchange of Chain of Vapor.
Yeah.
And the Meddling Mage is not a commanding position when
no, it's only it's single. It's lonely. It's just alone. Oh, both guys a knight and tutor now. So let's go for a contest of all ladies. Oh, there's no new art, right? So yeah, we don't have it. That's the new art. Actually, it's not the. It's just the latest one. Judge. All right, Alice is attacking. Yeah, eat that. And as an answer is drawing, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drawing like for 4.
Oh, this collective brutality drawer is huge.
Oh yeah, and Backleaf Cliffs unfortunately is gonna get tapped, but I think he's pondering about playing it or not because balance is still good, but he's gonna play it whatsoever.
Mm.
Hmm.
And Trinket Mage is also huge. It gives us access to this Lion's Eye Diamond.
It does, so he's starting to assemble some part of the combo. He needs the Oyuk Salvagers, I think, right now to finish, because I don't picture him winning with anything else. So
Yeah.
he's got a redundant tutor actually with Enlightened tutor and Trinket Mage. But the thing is, the tutors find other tutors actually. That's the difficulty of his deck. So they are so rich that you can use a tutor to actually find another one, which was he was trying to achieve with Wishclaw Talisman first.
Mm.
Collective Brutality.
I wonder why he discarded the Trinket Mage here instead of the Balance.
So because of the raw power, I think it's just precautions, So like if anything happens bad, you just have balance, right? And he's going for 2 life point drain and discard a card. Discard and of course non instant sorcery card only, yeah. Non-creature, not creature, non-land. I only have this in Korean for, so I never remember. It's only sorcery instant, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I think I've answered my own question. Kenrith's ability for 5 in black allows us to put a creature card from a graveyard on the battlefield, so it may be a way to get around those counter spells that he's expecting the Brago opponent to have.
Yeah, and that's also one of part of combos. If you don't have it, if you put it in graveyard and you bring it back. Remand. Ooh. It's gonna get hard to actually play twice. Yeah. Palace Jailer. Ooh. Palace Jailer is a good answer, actually. I cannot replay the Kenrith. But if Palace Jailer ETB, I think it's going to be straight away balance and boom.
But he still won't regain the monarchy, right? So that's going to see Brago drawing an additional card per turn at the end, and the Kenrith won't be returned. Because Palace Jailer exiles until the opponent becomes the monarch.
Oh yeah, yeah. So they had to attack actually to do something. Yeah. So yeah, I still think no. Oh, he's got Unfin Ice, so that solves the problem. That is solving definitely the problem. No, yeah, that's good actually.
It's a good use of Enlightened Tutor here, and it's another permanent that can be flickered with Brago to change up targets. Another thing that is worth talking about here from a rules perspective is while On Thin Ice exiles the card, you can instead choose to place it in the command zone. And
if it leaves, you can bring it back.
Yeah, exactly. So you now have the opportunity as the Kenrith player to cast your commander while also having an opportunity to deal with the enchantment. So you have an additional way to regain the card.
I'm just puzzled here. Do you really exile on Thin Ice? If you do it and you exile it, does the creature come back? I don't think so. Because until on Thin Ice leaves the battlefield, it's just resolved during the same ability. So you just exile it and putting back. So you got a ETB trigger on Thin Ice, but actually you won't return the creature because it never left the battlefield. I think. Control the return those cards to battlefield and I'm control. Yeah, I think you keep it. I'm not sure.
So if you're flickering on Thin Ice with the trigger on the stack, the first trigger doesn't do anything. But what I was talking about in terms of having an option is to change what you're exiling. Um, if there are multiple creatures in play, if your opponent plays a better creature than the one that you have exiled, it's nice that with your commander you're able to change the targets.
You can change what you attach it to, actually. That's already a nice thing. But
and balance comes in huge here, because it's now allowing the cast of the Underworld Breach.
so yeah, he found the Underworld Bridge on the studio, and still not to win so far. Oops, I removed the graveyard. Kenrith is under the... I just need to move this right and this. Can you put your commander in another place, please? Right. So...
Ooh, and the Snapcaster Mage for Enlightened Tutor. And that's finding the rest in peace. So very strong here against Underworld Breach.
Oh, so that one of them is calling the judge. So we're gonna have a pause in the game.
I wonder why.
So they are talking. So Solisani is just asking the judge to speak now on Discord personally. So they're gonna call each other, and there's gonna be a pause in this game, and they're not gonna do much. I don't know why. What did it do?
So the balance was resolved correctly, I think.
No, yeah, you're right. It's just because of a rest in peace name. He just saw rest in peace. Was like, oh, whoa, wait. And
Judge, my opponent's playing a good card against me. It shouldn't be allowed, right?
There's a sideboard card in the main deck. What is it doing here?
Yeah.
And exile it instead. So yeah, there's no really, it's not much thing to say. Underworld Bridge is just flashback, but doesn't exile the cards. So you just have to pay them for them and just yeah, I think it's all it needs, right? Yeah, so the plan here would be so it's only got 4 mana, right? That's not enough, but so he cannot play lands from the graveyard, so right now he needs a little more than this to win. But actually he could assemble some combo if he just goes with playing Enlightened Tutor, find the Mox Diamond, put it on top, then play Thought's Cower and put it back in the graveyard. Then he needs to find a creature, so he needs to pay for 0 to cast the Lion's Eye Daemon again. Then going with balance is solving nothing. You just discard a card and sacrifice a Snapcaster Mage. So yeah, he still needs something else to win and go up. He could play Dark Ritual to pump up and get 2 additional mana. And then if he plays Trinket Mage, he cannot find anything sufficient to keep going, I think. So he still needs one kind of a tutor to be able to replay everything. He could just get 5 more mana. That's not enough to recast Kenrith anyway, so Lotus Petal is not gonna be enough to... It's the only thing that can be triggered with Lion's Eye Diamond. So he needs to find a way to get, I think, at least all your Salvagers. Salvagers cost 4, so you need something to tutor Salvagers for 4. Which it doesn't have. So if he mills something at Thought's Cower, he could just do something crazy, but it's not going to be that effective. take blue mana out of the Lion's Eye Diamond. They play Charter Course again, then play Charter Course again, then play Thought Scorer a second time from the graveyard, and I think it stops here. So yeah.
I don't think there is a deterministic win here, right? It's all going to be on what's on the top of the deck, maybe in the top 4 or 6 cards.
He just removed the mist, part of the mist to the entrance up to the front door, but he's not really in the house right now. He's just started to assemble part of the whole tutor resiliency thing, and he's got Seventh Reclamation, which allows him to play the same thing one more turn. So this turn he gets to assemble part of it, then still counts on the top of his deck, because he needs to get to pay 5, which is a lot actually, for 7th Reclamation flashback next turn. So at least he doesn't play Charter Course with that, because if he plays Charter Course, he can play Charter Course and discard the 2 cards actually. So he still keeps only 7th Reclamation in hand, and then next turn go off a second time, but that's still missing part of the combo.
I think there's another line with Grinding Station, right? Because we have Enlightened Tutor, which can find both Lion's Eye Diamond and Grinding Station. Isn't that good enough for Infinite?
It is, but he still cannot find the Grinding Station. Yeah, he's got Enlightened Tutor. Yeah, if he just goes second time, Tutor, he needs white. The thing is, the mana is not going to be easy, because Lion's Eye Diamond, it's only one color at a time, so you need to have white and blue and black, and he cannot achieve that because he used the mana first from his lands that provide the rest of the colors. So I think maybe he can do this if he manages to get one land up. If one land is up, every land he's got so far is producing either red, either blue, either black, either white. So that's probably enough, close to be enough, because if he gets probably the wisest thing to do is to keep up the blue away, so he just taps for white, Enlightened Tutor twice, keep the blue for Thought Scour, played by, whatever, Fury Islet, Tundra, the Arctic Shores, whatever, and then he could just go with Grinding Station, play a Lion's Eye Diamond infinitely for 0, discard all his hands, and tap Grinding Station, and then yeah, that's it. I think that's it. So he just plays Lion's Eye Diamond, cracks it to get as much mana as he wants first, and then play Grinding Station. That requires 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And I think we're looking at not enough cards in graveyard to start the chain, right?
It's close. I think it's very close. But it's like all combos that rely to small converted mana cost cards that do not a lot, but all together do a thing. I play Enchantress, and I play Animar, for example, and I play Arcum Daxon. First one is about enchantment, second one is about creatures, the last one is about artifacts, and it's always the same. You have to, like, playing Animar, for example, is just the same kind of nightmare. Play Animar combo, and you just have to, if you don't see the chain, sometimes you say like, fuck, I've lost, and then 2 hours later, maybe not, but it's too late. and sometimes there's always one guy, that's gonna say, hey, why didn't you do this? You just wanted to do this, and do. Just shut up, you're right. If you're going in a tournament with that, you can get a headache. The cool thing with me is I just always explain what I'm doing when I'm playing Enchantress, because it's much harder than Animar or Artifact combo. So this one is pretty straightforward, right? It's just go to the graveyard. It's revolving around the same cards over and over. So you just, in the end, you just figure out what's going to happen to you. But it's harder. It's how it's harder. All right, so the second one is called on Discord by the judge, which is the head judge. So he said, "I'm going to smoke while you come back," and he's back from smoking. Probably had a cigarette like done, and he's back. So I think both of them are called by the judge right now, and they must be talking on the side. So I don't know what the organizers are going to say to this, because we still have 4 rounds to play after this one, which already leads us to end at 9 o'clock tonight. So I think it's going to be a limit to that. I'm going to make myself some tea or something to keep my voice, because talking with you now just forces me to talk a lot more, and I think my throat is just going to melt soon.
Yeah, go ahead. I can keep it up. Well, it's time for the Australian monologue section of the stream, where you get to hear me talking. Well, he left at exactly the wrong moment when we have a continuation of the game here.
That's good news.
Rest in Peace, obviously a very strong card in this position, locking down the Underworld Breach from being effective, exiling all of the cards in the graveyard, and what you might see or what you might understand about Underworld Breach is to start off the combo, and what we were just discussing a few minutes ago is that you need some cards in your graveyard at the start to play some of the cards from the Underworld Breach's effect to really get going. So exiling, even just exiling 12 cards, even if the extra abilities of Rest in Peace weren't in effect, you know, you don't exile the other cards, even if it's just exiling the current 12 cards here, it's already very strong in this current situation. So I think what we expect to see here is the Kenrith player is now on a 5-turn clock from this Snapcaster mage. He has 5 turns to come back into the game, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Brago or Palace Jailer. Oh, Solasoni has conceded the game.
Something happened, right? He's just all right. He just conceded to being unable to beat Rest in Peace. Jeez, I'm gonna have to finally use it in my Enchantress deck. I don't like Rest in Peace because it also shuts down your own graveyard, which can be some bad thing sometimes, but yeah. The thing they call the judge to get a ruling on Rest in Peace, some stuff, and to make sure that they're actually dead. So I think Solasoni just said, wait, I need to check that I already lost the game. The judge said, you lost the game, and say, oh, right, I lost the game. So he went back and conceded. So it's going to be game 3, actually. Oh, I didn't update the scores, and I didn't update the streamers because this game was blinding fast, and we didn't have the time to. So, game 1 was...
So we actually have a bit of information from the organizers coming through on Discord about the judge situation. So you speak a little bit more French than I do.
Yeah, I'm just trying to update the scores at the same time so people get the scores. So New Trader won the first game, so it's 1-0. And you're right on the team internal, yeah. Oh!
I think we might be getting
all right. So the thing is, there was a judge call because he knew his list perfectly, and it was like, since when do you play Rest in Peace? So, like I said, those two people have the exact profile of the players that you shouldn't be trusting too much. So, those people know each other, they play together, we can say they're friends sometimes. So, and they just And also there was a problem because, as you can guess, to be able to play this, they have sent their deck list with the correct hash from the deck that checks that you have the correct deck played, and they changed the list 1 hour ago. So I was not part of this tournament organization at best time. I mean, I'm helping the ZAP team, but I was not looking at this. And there was a time limit to provide the deck lists. So
did he change the deck list after the official submission?
They are discussing this right now. Ooh, and the judges are actually gathering in the chat. So I think something changed in the list. I was not shocked because I saw the 8 lists yesterday evening, and 2 lists have been changed a few hours ago. Unfortunately, the website they use to provide the deck lists has history. So, and history is pretty clear and on French time. And well, I forgot to look at the history, and the history actually gets tracked of every single change. But on the 20th of April, which was today, he just removes Port Town and added a rest in peace.
Decided he wanted an extra card, which was good.
Like 1 hour ago, which is too late, I think.
Yeah, I think if I was the head judge in here, I would be talking very seriously about investigating for some kind of cheating, because that's,
So the judges are discussing right now. Yeah, the judges are discussing about what to do. This is a fair tournament, and like I said, I'm not saying anything against those players because both of them are great players. Needless to say, they are great players. But as some players can be, they can be more complex people to handle, and yeah. So I don't think, like I said, I don't know what the organizer told them about the time limit for the deck lists. And some way they could have accessed the lists. I mean, Rest in Peace has never been such a dead card, so it's always good. The thing is, do you include it or not? I play Enchantress combo, for example. I have answers to anything. I've never resolved myself to including Rest in Peace because, I play, for example, the good old Urza Enchantment Reanimator, or what is... For mana white, you bring all the enchantment that are non-rare back to battlefield. I don't play Open the Vaults because it's too expensive. I don't play other ones like the perpetual enchantment ones that bring an enchantment back from battlefield each and every turn. I don't play those ones, but being unable.
Sure you have some effects which bring back lands.
Yeah, no, not really, but I managed to cut everything from the deck that plays with the battlefield. I used to play with, Ground Seal too. Ground Seal is not stopping Breach, but it's slowing things down because you cannot target your graveyard again, and it cantrips. So I used to play this. I've stopped too. I've been winning thanks to Ground Seal. Like I won a Tundra thanks to Ground Seal on the tournament. So
that was good.
Yeah. Well, was we always do have some great histories to take, but something like that is crazy. You can expect Hogak definitely as a thing, and some rare reanimator decks still playing the battlefield. But the thing is, I was playing against Esper Control. The guy didn't know any of my cards because they are not conventional ones, and the guy just has an infinite hand with no limit in hand, not in mana, but he plays like he's a kind of a new guy, so he's on final of a tournament, 35, 40 players around that, and there's a Tundra to win. By the time the Tundra wasn't costing that much, so it was like 100 euros, and the thing is, the guy just get to draw, with the Sphinx like 20 cards or something, so his hand is filled with shit. And I was like, yeah, and he just slams planeswalker, like I cannot lose because you're gonna lose because I've got 10 planeswalkers, and like, yeah, I don't care about planeswalkers. Does any one of them kill me right now? Does anyone of them prevent me from playing? No? Then you shut the fuck up. And the guy just played everything, Jace, Nahiri, was just not Nahiri, it was just Esper control, so he was just playing so many of them, it was crazy. And the guy has just all of a sudden 10 stickers on the battlefield. I was like, and he played. I played, the enchantment that prevents you a City of Solitude, but makes you only activate abilities, even lands on your turns. And the guy was like, okay, your turn, and he just Oblivion Ringed the City of Solitude, because of course he just shut down his deck. He's just playing instant speed all the time and Planeswalkers. And I was like, end of turn, I'm gonna sacrifice the Disenchant enchantment, the seal of
cleansing, I think.
Of cleansing. It was the white one, no, it was the green one, Seal of Primordium. That I just cracked it. Get to bring it back. So that's EOT. I say, all right. And my opponent say like, and I say, yeah, you douchebag. You just play counter spells and you think that's control. You play counter spells and creatures removal, and I play stickers. And the guy was like, yeah, I got no answer to that. That's wow. All right, you go, and that's my turn. I say, can I play? And then I get to play everything, and by that time the kill was Jinara plus Ancestral Mask, so I get to play my thing, combo off, bringing everything back, and attack with Jinara that was just like 200, and smash for flying, kill my opponent instantly, but he has 20 cards in hand and 25 or 30 permanents, so I was like, yeah, go to the finals. That was good. That was crazy because my game was completely lost. I had stickers, but he's got more stickers than I have, and to be honest, Planeswalkers are a little more effective, but still was a great thing. So yeah, sometimes you could also want to be respecting, the rest in peace. Rest in peace is strong. There are also the discussions about which one what you want to handle. For example, counter spells got Multanist Presence. Graveyards got Rest in Peace. Artifacts got whatever you want it to be, the Kataki enchantment, or the one that is blue, or the one that is white. Just so many of them.
There's a few, yeah.
Yeah, the one that's played in Modern 2 that just shuts down everything. One white.
I can see the art in my head.
With one dying statue in the ground. I just don't remember. And all these enchantments are good solutions, and the deck is about playing solutions to anything. You don't play really creatures or anything else, so you just I can give you a list actually. Yeah, it's not good, but it's fun, which is not the same. And you cannot win with it, but I can, because I played really.
Suppression Field, I think.
Suppression Field is for abilities.
Abilities.
And you've got another one for artifacts. So the deck list is here. In English, of course. So the ending is... Alright, so Solar Sony effectively modified his deck list at 5 o'clock. But the main tournament organizer, the head, said okay. So everyone was like, I didn't know that you said okay, but it's okay. So because the OTO is a very nice guy, so he said all right, and so they went on playing. But just after this, Solar Sony said no, all right, I just concede because I can't win.
I wonder what they're going to do from now on. How does this game continue?
No, but it's okay.
Hi, hello. I'm a judge on this match.
And we are live, so everyone hears you, right? Just before you talk.
I'm gonna explain what's happening. New trader has registered a decklist without any rest in peace yesterday, and at this match he presents a deck with a rest in peace in. So we issue a game loss on the game 1, and we're gonna restart the game 2 with the toss to new trader and a score of 0-1 for Solasoni.
All right, so I'm gonna change it.
All right.
No, that's good.
As for the supplementary time, I will tell you.
Oh yeah, about the additional time. So what is the final time they should finish? You don't know yet?
If I may give you an information, it should be something like as a foreigner, I think we're gonna have something like 20 more minutes on this match. 20,
Okay.
25.
So Solasoni won the first game in that case.
Yeah.
All right. So 1-0 for him. All right. So I'm gonna change the score.
What happens with the deck list? Are we going with the
we're gonna
list?
change the deck list of a new trader to match his original deck list. So we are gonna take out the rest in peace for, if I remember right,
Port Town?
Snowland.
Snowland? If you look at history, I think it was a Port Town, no?
It was no, a Port Town. Sorry.
Yeah, Port Town. It was a finder land. So yeah.
Exactly. Thank you
Okay.
for your patience.
All right. That's good.
Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wonder how this changes the match. Obviously, it's a very powerful tool that the Brago deck can have.
Well, he's got more lands.
It's got more lands, which is good if we look at.
Oh my tea!
Right?
Oh my tea! I forgot to take my tea.
No.
I was like, I'm still going to die if I don't drink something, and I was like, yeah, I just made some tea like 2 hours ago. But it's not iced tea yet.
Okay.
So instead of losing the game, he just won the game. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so he just.
They're making a new lobby, I think.
I think no, they're just going to continue this one, but. Oh yeah, so like the judge said, they're gonna stop the game. He's gonna update his list, submit a new one with additional changes, revert it or whatever, and he's going to bring it back, and they're gonna play the next game. So if we just understand clearly what the judge said, I'm gonna pause the stream. I mean, not pause the stream, but put a pause screen at least, because this white screen is not really interesting unless you want to watch a white screen. And what is happening right now is they're gonna update the list. They're gonna do the whole game again.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. They just updated the deck list and they're going back. All right. So we're back. So this should be game 2 again, I think.
Ooh, and look at Solasoni's hand. He has the Lion's Eye Diamond and a Gamble to be able to find a combo piece.
That's very good. That's very good for a start. Yeah. And Manatave is cool. Narset is absolutely not. Extra draws are not at stake here.
Yeah, I think we can win as Kenrith. You can win around the Narset pretty easily.
You don't care. It's a neutral card for you. It's just you don't get extra draws, so
yeah.
You don't. I don't even know there's any single extra draw but the commander in the deck. I don't even think there is any of them.
Oh yeah, I mean there's obviously the sort of like charter course.
Yeah, charter course. Teferi -3 makes you draw a card, so you cannot draw an additional card with Teferi. Can bounce.
like serum visions, etc. But I think, as you were saying, only Teferi and the commander are those persistent effects.
Brainstorm gets stopped.
And we're seeing a gamble, but the Mana Tithe comes in.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good call. Actually, that was the only thing he could do, but it's like a long history of 5-color combo in Dual Commander. All of them were just supposed to win by the first 4 or 5 turns if you just let them do anything they want. So I mean, maybe you have not known this era, but there was a time where you could play, for example, what I remember, and it was like 10 years ago, is Hermit Druid, if you remember this card.
Yep.
And Hermit Druid was about playing all the cards that cost 1 or 2 at worst. And the combo also relied heavily on Necrotic Ooze. And
Dread Return with Narcomoeba, right?
Yeah, at least among any other things, Reanimate and massive other things. And Hermit Druid was like, turn 1 Vampiric Tutor, turn 2 Hermit Druid, turn 3 you activate and you win. You don't even need to draw to land, it's just you need to win. Yeah. So that was crazy. And Florian from the community, for example, I think he would just, pardon me if I would just quote this story, was in the south of France as a student by the time, and there was a local store with nice people and him. Nice people were playing multiplayer Commander on the release day of Commander 2013, I think. And the guy was like, yeah, let's organize a tournament and make dual lands as prizes. Like, you know, it's a political game, bro. It's multiplayer. What are you talking about? And the guy was, yeah, I don't care. It's okay. At that time, the Volcanic Island was like 50 euros. So it wasn't really that much. People paid 5 euros to play the tournament. And they could also use the pre-made decks from Wizards of the Coast on the tournaments, which almost everyone did. And that guy, that Mundus guy, just showed up, registered, and get to turn to table 1 with 4 or 5 players. And he said it exactly took 5 minutes to kill everyone in the same turn. So the owners say there's no time limit, it's a multiplayer, so we're going to make 2 rounds, and we'll see who wins the second round. So there were 2 tables, the other game lasted 2 hours and a half, so people had to wait for basically 2 hours and 25 minutes. And then was the second round, and say, you ready? 3, 2, 1, go, you're dead. So he just blasted the whole tournament, and then he tranquilly left the shop saying, bye guys, I'm gonna move backwards, always looking at you when I leave the shop. That's the difference between multiplayer and competitive, right?
Yeah, totally. And just bringing us back to this game, we've seen an interesting couple of turns, seeing the Force Spike coming in, so not only the Mana Tithe, but also the Force Spike. And then one of the very few interactive cards from Kenrith, the Swords to Plowshares, getting rid of the Brago here, which could have started to draw an extra card every turn from the Arkham Astroblade. So fairly interactive match so far, or game I should say.
Yeah, Kenrith doesn't really answer board presence. Got Swords to Plowshare, Dark Blast, and maybe Lightning Bolt. That's mandatory in Fatal Push. That's probably the only things that are played. Blockers, of course, Spellseeker, Trinket Mage, or Salvagers, Dimir Infiltrator could be blockers. Kenrith is a blocker too. Kenrith could deal with board things. It doesn't kill. Actually, Kenrith can only boost itself and go hasty and trample. It doesn't kill by blasting the opponent, so you have to
attack still.
Yeah, you have to attack and do something else with that. And I don't think there's any other card that allows some boards check presence, whatever, in the text. So Collective Brutality can go -2/-2, and I think that's the only thing that handles opponent broad. So if you don't go off very fast, you probably die. But on the other side, if you play like against the mono white deck we just played before, if the mono white doesn't see Thalia or something else, I think they're dead in 4 turns. So yeah. So Force Spike and Mana Tithe, very interesting, yeah.
And we see this enlightened tutor coming back into play. Can't find the rest in peace anymore, but there's
I
probably
suppose it
some
can't.
good.
And for your information, it cannot find a port stone either.
No, it can't. But it does have a few good options still. There's the uh, Parallax Tide. Is that the one which targets lands? I don't recall.
I'm just reading the French chat at the same time, so. And the French player fetches over the third string, like on the ring. Yeah, those two players build each other, but they're actually friends. But they build each other, they're friends. But I think they knew what they were doing. They live in the same place and they spend most of the time together. So it's not madness, but I think they agreed that the card was not in the deck, and then the card just got added at the last moment. Yeah.
So right now we're seeing Kenrith against Planeswalkers.
Not really his best thing, but
No.
at least he would be attacking them. You can just did you activate? Yeah, can read Return King, Spell Seeker, Trample Haste. Yeah, he's trampled, so even if he blocks with the wall, I just need to remove the hand. Even if he blocks with the Spellskite, he just got to bring Narset to 1, so that would be. And losing the Spellskite is not a good thing. No, I don't know. It's not bad. You don't really care about Spellskite right now.
Yeah, I agree.
You could.
The Narset isn't so good on this board. Like, it's just getting an extra 2 cards.
That's what it does most of the time, actually. Except the thing is, it's in all the formats is the same, except maybe in Legacy and Vintage. But Narset is just only the same thing. You play it in the hope that it does something. If it does, it's preventing some very basic game mechanic. So yeah, I don't know. It's always a good thing. What I say is you always think that Narset is not preventing you from doing something until you find out that it does, and you're like, what? I cannot tell you how many times I play just on the morning very often when I wake up before going to work, especially in remote work like we do right now. So I just play Brawl a lot, and I play all the time against blue, so I get Narset. And you always like, yeah, I don't care, I'm playing Niv Mizzet. I don't draw the cards, I put them in my hand, everything's matched in my hand, and at some point you're going to play to Fairy or Euro, and you're like, oh, fuck, I just forgot I couldn't draw. and the game, and Magic Arena says, bring, and you just, right.
And comes in here and bounces the Kenrith, draws another card. The Daze is quite nice, and we'll save a bit of time here.
Actually, I think you can. I think Neutrally can start playing Brago and attack now. It's just going to win at some point.
Yeah,
he's just going to do something.
The Kenrith player has gotten so far low on cards that if Brago can start coming in and refreshing some of these Planeswalkers, obviously one of the more powerful things you can do with it is being able to activate Teferi every turn. So
or Jace.
You might see that coming in. Or Jace.
Because you might get a lot of targets. And you could just still draw White Mare, but it's much better, I think, to pump up Teferi and keep preventing from instants, because I think a third of Solus on his back is instant, so it's pretty good to have Teferi on board, actually. That's the danger zone with Teferi. You don't want to go too deep on minoring it, because you never know how the next phase is going to be. Like right now, a single Space Seeker could kill it. That's a shame, right?
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen here. Kenrith is going to come in with haste, and we'll see two creatures attacking the Teferi. So there's no possibility for the Spellskite to block or block effectively here. So the Teferi will die. Yeah. So Solus only valuing the the negative aspects of the Teferi over his Lion's Eye Diamond.
Yeah. The thing is, he still doesn't have green. He just never plays green, probably. There are no green spells in his deck, probably.
Yeah.
I think. I'm not sure. I think he doesn't play any green spells.
It makes sense. It's just mostly 4-color, or even 3-color, right? It's just mostly blue, black, white with 3 or 4 red spells.
Yeah. Actually, white and green are not combo colors. The other ones are. So he's just playing. White is just about. Protection, and green is just about recursion. So, yeah. As you can expect the cards to be, it's just mostly blue, black, and there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4 red spells only. 5 if you count the Goblin Engineer. Actually 5. So yeah. But I don't even know what source of green is in the deck.
I think there's probably a Bayou, and maybe that's it. There's not even a Bayou.
No, not all the dual lands are in the deck. He's playing 38 lands, but there is Command Tower, City of Brass, Prismatic Vista doesn't find anything, and that's all.
Yeah, Gemstone Mine and Lion's Eye Diamond and Lotus Petal, as well as Pentad Prism if you're really desperate.
Yeah. If you just count the lands, it's fine, and if you add the non-lands, yeah, it's what is added. Which is fun. You cannot even activate your commander +1, but on the other side, you don't really care about putting +1/+1 card if you're not going to kill with it. So.
No. I think you just want to draw cards most of the time in this.
Yeah, and bring it. I think it's basically red, blue, and black abilities on Kenrith that you want to use, and the rest is not really counting. I could just actually increase the card size like that. We don't need to save players.
I imagine gaining 5 life is also quite good against some of the more aggressive strategies.
Well, if you got a bold presence with a 5/5 and you can do this, yes. I think you can do this. Also, it's cheap. It's just free, so 3 mana is cool.
So if you play it on turn 5 and you need 1 more turn, you can activate it.
Also, he plays Helm of Awakening. So, you know, that artifact that reduces all the cost by 1. So actually, if you read Kenrith again, it means 1 green +1/+1, 2 gain 5, 3 draw a card, and 4 reanimated creature. So that's pretty good.
Helm of Awakening is only for spells, right? It doesn't do abilities.
I don't know. Is only for spells? You're right. It's only for spells. It's not costs. Oh my goodness! But it's for everyone's spells. Yeah, but I just remember the card. It's just not for abilities, but for everyone. It only works for your opponents.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just said shit. That happens. I haven't seen this card for ages actually.
Yeah.
I got it someplace, but I haven't used it or sold it. Because it's symmetrical. That's what I remember the most. It's symmetrical, yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't want to abuse it.
And this is sort of transformed into quite an interesting endgame here, where Kenrith is desperately trying to attack and put pressure with the commander while drawing cards, and Brago is trying to get as much card advantage to find a way to deal with the Kenrith.
Which is going to do actually right now, because Unthin Ice is going to close this.
Yeah.
And weirdly enough, there's 2 solutions. The Stoneforge Mystic has 2 targets. That's cool. 2 targets. So there's
a Battleskull, I assume?
Lightning Greaves and GT.
No Battleskull, okay.
Nah, that would be too expensive, I think. And you don't get advantage by blinking it, so maybe you can just reattach it. No, you cannot reattach it. That's not interesting. Yeah,
so
the other ones.
Ice comes in, and actually, what's really nice here about the On Thin Ice is if the Kenrith decides to go to the command zone and then to be replayed, we can then flicker the On Thin Ice with Brago, and every time the Kenrith player attempts to recast, it's going to increase the cost by 2. So it's a permanent answer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the rules. If on thin ice leaves the battlefield before it trigger ability resolves, the target creature won't be exiled. I think it's the same when it gets exiled and put back on the battlefield. You just got the trigger from entering the battlefield, but you don't get to remove, because when you check state-based effects, you only do it after the resolution of the spell. So you just do actions while you resolve the spell, and the whenever ETB blah 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 is only checked. I don't think it's triggered by the exiling.
Yeah, so I might not be explaining myself very well. So effects like Thin Ice and what's the, not Oblivion Ring, the new Oblivion Ring.
Yeah. Oh, the Banishing Light, for example?
Yeah, Banishing Light, right? So those have very interesting interactions with the way that commander rules work.
Yeah.
So you can choose to put the commander, if it's targeted by On Thin Ice, into the command zone, right?
Yeah.
And then you can cast it from the command zone. Or if you kill the On Thin Ice,
yeah,
then it also comes back.
If it leaves the battlefield, you have to bring it back. Yeah, that's a rule change that happens a few years ago.
Yeah, so the interesting part here is if Kenrith is then recast, the On Thin Ice is still in play, right? So we can then use the Brago's effect to bring the On Thin Ice back, and then exile the Kenrith again, and then continue this loop until the Kenrith costs so much mana that it can't be played.
Yeah, because you add the command attacks to every time you went back to the command zone. So yeah.
Exactly. So On Thin Ice is a very effective answer here to any pressure that the Kenrith is putting on the board.
Well, actually, right now, Bouncing Lab, Astrolab, On Thin Ice, and James Billerun each and every turn, pretty sure that's enough to win now.
I think so too.
Because you don't make everyone draw, you just -2 on Jace and you win.
Yeah. The last question I have, and maybe this is the last turn that we have to see if this can happen, is if we can return the Spell Seeker, if the Kenrith player can return the Spell Seeker with Chain of Vapor and cast it, is there any card which they can have?
Return the Spell Seeker? You have to control it, right?
So if Chain of Vapor can return the Spell Seeker.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, okay. I thought we were talking about Brago still. Yeah, so yeah, bouncing the Spell Seeker and getting it back. Doesn't have...
but there's a Spell Skite. He can change the target.
Yeah, and he's got 50 points and blue, so...
Yeah, I think New Trader really should change the targets here. Obviously, he doesn't know what we know, that there's only a Rain of Filth in the other hand. But yeah, there's the 2 points being paid, and I think this should be game over if we see this ability come through.
So yeah, he just paid life. That's weird. Why did he pay life? Could just use Path of Ancestry and pay blue.
I think because his life is a resource here that isn't being attacked. Or
maybe it's just a reflex from being used to playing this in other formats, right?
Yeah, also possible.
That's just like the Force of Will for 5 mana. People just they just block sometimes. They just they're stuck to not doing it, and you say, you know, Force of Will can be cast for 5. Like, wow, I never thought about this. Yeah, you never, right?
Yeah.
Force of Negation works like that too. No, you're kidding me. No, I swear it does.
And you can play it on your turn also.
I swear. Yeah. That could be, of course, that could be bluff, but does it really need bluff? I don't think so. Well,
I think there might be something interesting with the rules here. The players are discussing what happens with
But you're
the
discussing about the
box.
copy from Chain of Vapor, right?
Yeah. And I think because the change in target to the spell skite, new trader has the option to sacrifice a land, not Solar Sony. That's what they were talking about here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So spell skite, almost the perfect answer in this situation to the Chain of Vapor.
Yeah, he's just teaching him that he's able to copy Chain of Vapor because the permanent controller is changed. You know, you are not resolving the spell; you're just changing the target before it resolves. So, when you resolve the spell, then that permanent controller may sacrifice a land. So you just have the opportunity to do this. So he could sacrifice a land and copy the spell again. So he could just also bounce something else, which is pretty good when you're playing Brago usually. You're like, oh, can I just bounce anything else like an Astrolabe and get one more turn? Oh, right. But you get a sacrifice of land. So I think 8 land is good, but it's not in the position of cracking each of them right now.
No, and only for one card. You know, if it was 2 cards maybe, or if it was another effect which was more powerful, but
Yeah.
I think just for one card it's not good enough. And,
also, this game is clearly over right now. It's got Venser, and Venser is just punishing, right? It's just.
Yeah. I imagine we'll just see the Venser staying in hand.
You know, it's got Venser and Charming Prince, so you just basically put Venser, bounce lands, say, okay, next phase, lose your mana, then you go Charming Prince, bounce Venser, bounce a land, then you go Brago attack, bounce both of them, bring them back to the battlefield, and then you got even the 2 triggers once again. So you got Venser that bounce again one thing, and Charming Prince that gets bounce one thing, and you get to bounce 4 permanent this turn. So needless to say, you bounce 4 lands and no Spellseeker, and basically it's a win.
Yeah, as long as the Spellseeker remains used, then I think there's no option for Solar Sony here. I'm just thinking, is there even one card which he can draw which is good enough to win from this position? Maybe Demonic Tutor? Demonic Tutor finding Underworld Breach, recasting Demonic Tutor, finding
the graveyard is
Diamond,
rich enough, I think. The graveyard is rich enough to combo off on one card that is
one tutor, right? It has to be a tutor.
But of course, Demonic is the perfect one. I don't know about the rest. Talisman may be a good thing too.
Yeah,
but Talisman exposes you to opponent getting a cast spell.
Yeah, there is already a Lion's Eye Diamond and a Gamble in the graveyard, so any card which gives access to Underworld Breach would be winning from this position, I think.
I think right now he should just play Venser and the Charming Prince. That would be just stupid enough. You bounce the Concealed Courtyard, that won't come back untapped in addition to that, so that's just pure brain dead play right now.
Yeah. The other thing I was considering is just leaving the Venser in the hand as Remand.
You could just play safely, yeah. He's got into the roll too. You just get into the roll, so maybe he's just getting precautious. But he knows that next turn is going to be a tool win. And for the time left, they lost, I think, 10 to 15 minutes. So the judges have decided, I think, to postpone the round end to 10 to 15 minutes. So we should have everyone after this round starting delayed. We should be up to 9 o'clock French time tonight. So we still have 4 rounds to go. We're halfway the tournament right now. So I suppose it's going to be, it's 6 o'clock, right? 7 o'clock, maybe 10. Maybe 10.
Another 3 or 4 hours, yeah.
I'm pretty sure right now the tournament organizers, even if one of the next rounds is played faster than the others, they're going to say, all right, let's start immediately the next one. Instead of telling, like they used to do for this round especially, the player before you finished very fast, but you still have to wait. I think they're gonna change right now. I don't know.
Yeah. And this Vendilion click coming down is really just the final nail in the coffin here, so to speak. We've got complete knowledge from New Trader, and yeah, we see the concession coming out.
Yeah, so that's the end. All right, that was 2-1.
And game 3 has started very fast here. I think both players want to be able to get a full game in. And, looking at Solo Sony's starting hand, this is an interesting one, actually. He's got a lot of pieces. He's got the Lion's Eye Diamond.
Yeah.
He's got the Demir Infiltrator to be able to find
But one land.
the Underworld Breach, a Silence for protection, only one land. So there is a mental note, though. So I don't know, maybe this is keepable. I think
that's very edgy.
You only have 9 minutes to play, right? So do you keep this hand because you have a lot of pieces and maybe you get lucky with the lands and can win? I'm not sure. Solisoni has kept. It looks like both players have kept, and both players keeping those one-land hands.
So he plays the diamond, alright. Careful play, because opponent doesn't have an answer to that, of course. No force spike? Oh. Ponder? No. Ponder turn 1.
Yeah.
I don't like Ponder turn 1, it's not really a good idea in general.
No, but there's only one land. Oh, the careful study comes in huge here.
He milled another one. Milled the Verdant Catacombs.
And there's the second land.
Discard a Dark Blast, of course.
And we can also play the Duress this turn, so maybe discarding Orum's Chant. Orum's Chant or Silence. They're both unplayable, right?
Yeah.
There goes the Silence. And we see the Duress coming in. I think I would Force Spike this Duress.
Yeah.
And we see the Force Spike.
He still got Daze and Spell Snare up, he's cool with that.
Yeah.
That was a turn intense. That's the thing when you play too many pieces of combo and tutors, you actually get to empty your hands in 2 or 3 turns. So right now the only solution, the only answer to that is the graveyard. If you can go to the graveyard, yeah. Turn 2, 7 card in the graveyard. This is Hogek, right? No, it's not. It's not. It's not.
It's also quite nice though for Kenrith to be filling up that graveyard. It helps with starting off Underworld Breach chains. The Ponder finds a Seachrome Coast, so both players are finding their second lands on the second turn.
Both hands were pretty bold.
Yeah.
But they got so much card filtering that they don't really fear mulligan, so...
Yeah. Now, is the Giver of Runes coming in, or is... No, he's passing the turn. I think I like passing the turn here, because it means you're not just going to immediately lose if your opponent has that Underworld Breach.
They can Daze, they can Spell Snare plus Daze, and play the island back, because maybe they know they're not going to get another land on the top, so there's a risk if you do this. But that's a risk worth taking, right?
Yeah. I think, given our opponent... If I'm thinking as the Brago player here, my opponent has only got 2 lands and 3 cards. Strategic planning is going to find one more.
Boom, Dazed. Told you.
Comes the Daze. Yeah.
And weirdly enough, the Daze more than the Spell Snare.
Well, the Spell Snare it's a key counter spell here, because for 1 mana it counters the Underworld Breach, and it's a hard counter. So if you can play with the Spell Snare up for the rest of the game, it really limits the Kenrith's opportunities to be able to get that combo going off.
And back comes the third land. So crack, Cycle Infiltrator, I think. Transmute the Infiltrator.
This is
this card.
Finds a scrub land? Yeah, so transmute, we find the Underworld Breach, and you have next turn Orum's Chant plus Underworld Breach, right?
You could do it this turn, but it's too soon. Yeah.
Brazen Burrow is really good here. But it might not be enough with this arms chant. Now we just have to start calculating if there's a loop here.
I don't think there is one so far. There is conditional things. You could just dredge with a Dark Blast, for example, but it's not really interesting to dredge for free right now, I think.
I think it is, because you need to... the intuition might be enough.
That is a game changer, because
Yeah.
intuition is an instant speed win now, so... Can it just... I'm just thinking
the game
about...
is just over, right?
Well, something is happening, and clean up, so...
Why did he pass?
He's gonna play intuition and off turn, I think, right?
But I thought it was just a forced win. If you cast arms chant...
You get 1 from chant, 3 when you crack the Lion's Eye Diamond for intuition. You find 2 cards, and you can... Yeah, it's a win, because you get the Salvagers, and you miss 1 mana, I think. You miss 1 mana to bring back the Salvagers from the battlefield and win. I think.
So my calculation was arms chant for 1, breach for 2, sack the Lion's Eye, and then
you need to play the intuition, right? You are talking about the intuition too. You haven't played it yet. Now he's played it. But he did. If he did it last turn, he would not do anything with that. He couldn't win. Now he needs...
it's a guaranteed win, isn't it?
How do you win?
Well, okay, so you have arms chant, underworld, Lion's Eye, right? So you go start arms chant, then underworld, and you've used all your lands. Then sacrifice Lion's Eye, and you have 3 blue.
Yeah.
Then you can flashback the intuition, find salvages.
No, you would still have it in hand. It's still in hand. You didn't play it. You were talking about him not playing the intuition, so it's just the same. He just had it in hand because he didn't play it.
Yeah, but you sacrifice the Lion's Eye Diamond, so it goes to your graveyard. So...
Yeah, and if your opponent gives you Salvages in hand, you lose because he just discarded the Reanimate. So
no, because you replay the Lion's Eye Diamond.
Yeah, you only get 3. It costs 4. You don't have enough mana.
You can just play it twice.
You don't have the... Oh yeah, I mean, maybe something. No, yeah, you're right. You don't need the Reanimate. Yeah, you're right. Maybe that was a win. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a guaranteed win here. But
All
interestingly, the Breaker player has found his Force of Will, so that's going to...
So intuition resolves.
Yeah.
But yeah, he could also counter the first spell being resolved that prevents the loop, which is usually a double bridge. And
yeah, I mean, going for it last turn assumes that your opponent doesn't have 2 counter spells, and with your opponent having 3 mana up, maybe they have 2 counter spells. My problem with passing the turn is you're giving them another 2 draw steps. So as we can see here, he's found the Force of Will as a second counter spell. So I don't think it really matters what happens with this intuition. We're still looking at needing to beat 2 counterspells, which Solar Sony's hand doesn't currently do, right?
The bounce is not enough, and the Force of Will is not enough too. So yeah, I think he's gonna miss 1 blue too. One blue card at least.
Yeah. Unless the idea here is to go arms chance, and then you have to play Force of Will, right? And then you cast Reanimate and try to go for Lion's Eye Diamond loop.
So Force of Will on Chant.
But then you can't cast anything else, you just have the mana. But then you can Earth, right? Yeah, okay. I think we can call this game for Solar Sony. He got a bit lucky, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just way better than we are.
Oh, but this is a probability too.
Yeah.
Not hiding the truth. Don't hinder the truth. I think we're gonna see the end here. Should I translate this? New traders say I've been a fucking stupid douchebag.
He just didn't play the pithing needle from his hand.
Yeah, they say I'll look at the replay. And I think he's still going to combo off. They're still going to look at the things going. So they use the mana counters on the left. Yeah, put 2-1. That's long to resolve. Actually, that's longer to resolve when you are playing on digital than on paper.
Yeah.
That's one of the rare things that you do faster. He's just revealing his hand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Spitting Needle. That's that's condemning. And I don't think there was a solution against Pithing Needle. What was the key to name? I don't know, Lion's Eye Diamond or Salvagers?
I think.
Both of them are crazy, so...
Well, Lion's Eye Diamond is a mana ability, so...
No, yeah, that's Pithing Needle. You're right. I'm just stupid. That's manipulated. You don't have a choice. You don't absolutely have a choice. So Salvagers is fine. And Kenrith is...
And Phil is only adding a lot of mana to the pool here. Wow.
And he's just saying that in addition to pumping it with 1,000 counters, he just gains some life and also keeps some mana at bay. You say, I'm making a plane and boom.
There's an interesting end to that game. I wonder if it was good to wait one turn. Does playing the intuition actually make you more likely to win in that scenario? I guess it's good against spell snare.
Maybe he was overly careful. That could be a thing.
I'm just thinking, because if your opponent has Force of Will plus any other counter, or if they have two 1 or 2 mana counters, then playing the intuition is actually not so good here, because they forced counter the first spell, the Arms Chant, and then they counter your other spell, and at that point you're left with the same situation of having one more card in your hand, but it could be any card which your opponent gives you. I don't know, maybe it's a 50-50 play. Maybe it's
yeah. Bless you.
That's my fiance, don't mind her.
We all know that there are some risks being live. Alright, so let's look at the pairings. So next one is going to be Verena against Kess, I think. So I need to join the next game and find it. Alright, so Verena versus Kess.
Do we have the same password? Or?
No. Is it already prepared, the next one? Oh, yeah, it is. And I got a password somewhere. There was a list of passwords that was written here. Yeah, there's a uppercase in this one. Alright, the new password for you, friend, is this one. Oh, they're going straight away? No. They're just waiting, right?
Oh, I didn't put the last...
I know, they're just starting. Alright, they're just starting straight away. So Verena won the toss, and let me put the things back. Verena won the toss, and they are coming back to this game 5. So you guys know the drill. It's pure control on both sides with one commander that could potentially kill accidentally the opponent. It is basically what it is about. So the arena is a zombie wizard, and Kess is a human wizard. The question is, when a human wizard dies, can it become a zombie wizard? You'll never know.
And then the follow-up question, if it does become a zombie wizard, does Verena the Lich Queen automatically win the game?
Ah, that's an interesting question. Because right now, Verena looks like a human zombie, actually.
So what are the differences? You might need to send me through the deck lists again.
Oh, you didn't have this one? Yeah, you don't. You were not there when we strained this one. Very nice here. And
cool.
The other one is Yes. Good thing is we have 8 different commanders for this tournament, so we could not see twice the same one.
It's nice to show off the diversity of what's available.
We're trying to maintain it diverse. It's not that easy, but we're trying to.
One of the things I really liked about investigating the format was making decisions about what types of decks to play, and then even what commanders to play for those decks. You know, coming from a more traditional type of deck building scenario, like you go and have a look and you're like, okay, well I can play mono red or red black, but in Commander we've got so many different variations of those, right? Like you could play red black goblins or mono red goblins.
Yeah, and the archetypes are different even with the same commander. That's weird.
Absolutely.
So sometimes you really get lost. And they're starting. Yeah, starting. All right.
So we see just a couple of lands coming in for both of these players.
Yeah, they're playing pretty fast.
Makes sense. I don't imagine we'll see too much action in the first few turns.
They're just basically going to sit in the couch and look at each other saying, you attack first. No, you. No, you. No, you attack first.
I think twice coming in here.
Yeah, the question, the decision chart here is it dangerous? Yes, then I'll just do something. Is it dangerous? No, then just go ahead and play it.
And having a look at the differences between these decks, it's fairly similar, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
A lot of the old, Ponder, Preordain, Thoughtseize, Duress, obviously black and blue being the shared colors. I noticed that Kess has the Time Warp package, which is really nice, as we saw in round 1.
Yeah, 3 of them, I think. And Verena is playing, I think, Kess is playing 3, yes, 3 of them, yeah. And Verena is playing Verena. 0, I think, yeah.
Verena has more of the like the 4-mana draw card options, so Hieroglyphic Illumination, Glimmer of Genius.
Yeah.
Those type of fact or fiction effects to have.
He's not even playing a board sweeper, actually, that's fun.
No board sweeper.
Not even the uncounterable one, which is usually very safe to include, but...
Oh, the blue-white one.
Yeah, Day of Judgment. The yeah, Day of Judgment.
Yeah,
but
I've got one in front of me. I can have a look through this deck. We've been building our decks for tournaments. I did a top 4 in the MKM Legacy tournament in Paris in January. So that was 400 euros in card market credit. So we were using that to create some deck lists for Commander. Supreme Verdict.
Yeah, Supreme Verdict, that's one. Day of Judgment is the mono white one that just was out slightly before, I think.
Yeah.
But those are rememberable because they just went as a definitive substitute for Wrath of God after 15 years of Wrath of God, I think so.
Yeah. Apparently, regeneration was too powerful to remove. So
it was not exploited, actually. It was present, but no one would care about it. People don't even know about regeneration shields or stuff like that. It was just like, it's wipeout, so whatever you say.
That being said, they did remove regeneration a lot around this period. There was a lot less cards made with regeneration. So
yeah, the accent was more stroked on non-creature spells for the beginning of Magic the Gathering. The most emblematic ones are always non-creatures. The power 9, power 15, whatever you want to call it, is just 0 creature. And now the direction has changed, and I think, to me, I'm not an old school player. I was just starting playing with Kamigawa or Ravnica like in 2006, 2005, I think. So the thing is, it was just changed brutally to me at Lorwyn. The thing is, Lorwyn introduced few things: tribal decks, planeswalkers, of course, and above all things, creatures that would have things that would have mythic rarity, so overpowered things that would involve being played the same. So you just go over the rarity in terms of rarity. You just get one step higher, and you feel like it's higher. No, it's just more expensive and harder to find. It was the case before, but it was just not stated on the card. So that changed everything because we entered the mythic era where new players and kids and stuff and young players would just slam the huge fattest thing that just it gets unbeatable, and things that were supposed to be very specific and rare become common. For example, the keyword, which is absolutely stupid, indestructible. I really hate the translation, by the way it's said in English. By the way, it should be indestructibility, but you don't have vigilant, you have vigilance. You don't have first striking, you have a strike. you got the substantive, and you don't have indestructible. You should have indestructibility. You should have something that says when you gain indestructibility, but the sentences are not right. So before that, there were like I think you can count them before 2012. You could count indestructible keywords on your fingers on the same hand. So there was Darksteel Colossus and a few cards like that. 3 to 5 cards were indestructible, and now you got indestructible cards with each single extension on creatures, on permanents. Elspeth, for example, was one of the first cards to start the fight with indestructible, and then there was this flash artifact that is indestructible, the Hulk. And then you've got those everything was just, and then you got cards like this green enchantment that removes hexproof and indestructible. Then hexproof was the second ability that was added. The most stupid and most useless ability to Magic Gathering ever is hexproof, because it just forced so many bad plays, and it's just a thing that helps new players be happy with a good Magic the Gathering experience. Like, you pay mana for things and you don't have always that douchebag that has more cards than you and more spin than you that just destroys everything with cheap cards, so you don't get to lose the quantity of mana disadvantage all the time. So hexproof was added, and there were like all those new abilities that were added to the field, and it really felt different to play Magic the Gathering. And what I remember is, for example, also I think one of the game defining structure markers is the Savannah Lion effect. The Savannah Lion used to be, since Alpha, a rare creature that was completely broken because it was a 2/1 for 1. Then we had Isamaru, that was a rare, that was legendary for being a 2/2 for 1. And then at some point, we just lost track. We started to have many rare 2/1s for 1. It was not a Jackal Pup, with a strong disadvantage. I mean, vanilla ones actually got advantage. And we saw one today, the 2-1 that gets to protection from multicolor and gain life. You gain life when people play multicolor spell. And slowly it became decreasing. And we began to have 2-1 as uncommons. Uncommons 2-1 for 1 straight away. And then we had 2-1s as uncommon with a boost, with an additional positive ability. And it keeps on going like that, you know. And at the low win era, there was something new. For the first time, you had tribal decks made by the format with one addition that could kill on turn 4. I had never seen that on a standard format before that. I mean, combo maybe, but aggressive decks that could kill anyone on turn 4, like the Elvish pack, you know, with this the Parangon that was 2/2, again +1/+1 counters when you played Elves. The Elves that was a 3/3 for 2, not even 2 green, 1 green, 1 generic mana, and Death Touch. If you reveal an Elf from your hand, so you could build basically things. And of course, people begin Warrior decks, Elf decks, Fairy decks. That was the one that actually got to be noticed the most. Fairy decks with all the Fairy boosts. And
I played so much of that deck.
And that was an era that changed everything, because anyone could build a deck, even Sengami packs, and everything was just overly powerful, and creatures began to pump up and gain, you know, like everything that was mythic or super rare became rare. Mythics became just overly crazy. Rares became uncommons, commons became common, and the whole sets were split in two, half for limited and half for constructed. That was the new Magic era that really changed after Lowin to me. If you just boost a draft old editions, you would just be having fun all the time. If you draft Urza, you should have lots of money to do that, but virtually it's possible. If you draft Ice Age, if you draft... I mean, look at LSV's draft on Magic Online. Sometimes he just drafts very old editions because he's remembering all of them. Draft Ravnica, for example, the first one, Ravnica.
Ravnica draft. I was playing this at the time. Yeah, that was Ravnica and Time Spiral set as well, the full Time Spiral block.
Yeah.
Those two draft formats just after each other were maybe some of my most fun playing Magic Limited I've ever had.
And that's an interesting thing, because when the end of Ravnica came, there was the cycle with Time Spiral, Future Sight, etc. First of all, Future Sight brought immeasurable cards, like Tarmogoyf, for example, that still defines the most powerful and broken creature card in the format for like an eternity. And just before Bob, Dark Confident, and those cards were like a start, a kickoff. But when we left the format, we had at the end of the era of Future Sight and Time Spiral and Planar Chaos, we had Sonic Boom, which was basically a mono blue control with a 6/6 blue that just flashly comes ETB as a good flyer and smasher. You got Swans of Branagol and Tectonic stuff. Assault, yeah. So you just had combo decks. You just had Greater Gargadon decks that was just still combo decks. You just had
more non-creature based interaction.
It was combo with creatures or control. It's been like that for years. Whoever was playing Ravnica would just play this. There was Gruul Aggro in Ravnica. There was Orzhov tokens maybe at some points that brought LSV back to winning a Pro Tour. And that was... very, very limited in terms of aggressive decks. You couldn't do very much with that. You could just attack, but before that, everything was played and it was fun. It was just affinities, It was just not the ability affinities, just affinities between cards. Like, cards played together were good, And that was good. If you look at the finals of John Finkel playing in 97, I think, you, apart from playing dual lands with no sleeves, which makes you cringe a little, you would just look at everything's being played and it's wholly different. And every time you see that, the finals of the year 2000, 2001, 2002, Onslaught World Championships, and it's just, that's a very, very disturbingly old and different way of playing Magic the Gathering,
Yeah.
And it was the same standard, the same number of cards, maybe a little more, but it's just, it was cool, And then it just changed. And right now, the thing is, the shareholders are taking over. People who need to have money back from investing on Wizards of the Coast, we don't give a fuck about the game. We just say we put 10 billions to you. We want to have 15 billions back. How long is it going to take? And the thing is, people are just making everything driven by the will of sale, which is not bad. I'm not going to go against that, but sometimes the shareholders are taking over too much, and the edition sucks. So you have to keep in between and a good balance with that. And right now, for 2018 to 2020, sorry, the new era is something we all saw coming. And interestingly enough, Wizard resisted very long for that. The digital era. So Wizards of the Coast has always developed digital products. There are so many of them, it's crazy. The first CD-ROM games date from 1998, I think, and it's very, very old, you know. And the thing is, it's been changing so much, and finally, Wizards of the Coast decided to say, all right, let's just create something. Let's just remind everyone who the best card game in the world selling place is. They just say, you were right, Blizzard. You are very well installed because there was no one. Richard Garfield, you're fine. We still like you. We owe you everything. You can do artifacts, but that won't work. And then they say we need to build Magic Arena. And when there was an alpha release of Magic Arena, I just registered. I got one of the first accesses to this. I just looked at the software. By the way, game one is over. And I was like, paper is dead. Paper is not dead, but it's going to be very different. So it's just a laboratory. Wizards just a permanent laboratory. If you think they don't know what they do, you're wrong. If you think they know what they do, you're wrong too. It's just a permanent laboratory, and it's fun to watch. And I like what is changing right now, except I get trapped into a cycle of disappointment every edition that goes out, and I'm like, yeah, but no, but maybe, you know. And all I know is I'm putting less and less money. I just get some collection cards. I don't even know how long it's been since I haven't played paper. I play Magic Arena every fucking single day, like for 2 or 3 hours. I swear, the first thing that started this game is something I have waited for so long. Cube. Cube has been entering Magic Arena. And needless to say, everyone in the committee just keeps doing 5-0, 5-1, 5-2 all the time. Because I mean, it's just like, yeah, you are mostly kids, and we've been playing like for a long time, and we see people, we just count how many misplays people are going to make with the old cards, and it's amazing, you know. And by the time Wizards of the Coast add more than standard and Brawl, which is really cool, I'm just going to play this forever, you know. I just keep collecting paper cards for the sole pleasure, but also I'm being older and very busy right now, not for family, I'm single, but I've got so many things to do, 5 organizations with me. I've got lots of things to do. I'm releasing a website tonight or tomorrow for gathering information against during the COVID-19 crisis situation locally. I'm just doing so many things. It's the committee is just a single drop in an ocean right now, and yeah, Magic the Gathering has changed. So what has changed is how it used to be, and how creatures, how things. Also, one thing that you can notice, maybe you noticed it, is the growing extension and the disappearance of cheap non-creature spells. 2 of them. First, the counter spells. Second, the spot removals. Those are very, very removed. For example, do you remember Counterspell from 7th edition last? Counterspell for blue, which we all play in Duel Commander, right? There has never ever been a better Counterspell ever since, because it was too good. 3 is not enough, 2 is too much. And it's a bad experience, so people played Mana Leak, they printed lots of different Counterspells. But we all know that today counterspells are going to be either conditional for 2, either generic for 3, or with a condition. Like you're gonna have
Returning a creature to your hand.
You're gonna have to have a commander or a creature on the battlefield, or it has to target a spell that costs less than 4 or more than 4, Disdainful Stroke, for example. And
like your negates or remove soul.
Yeah. Negate is on the side. It's a good example, but it's decent. Negate was always a spell that could be printed since alpha. We could have been seeing a negate since alpha. It's okay, but on the opposite, the rest is just sporadic. The opposite of negate, remove soul or essence scatter or whatever. There are 4 or 5 of them, I think. 5 of them different that exist that are strictly clones, and those counter spells are just not printed anymore. They are too deceiving for people. You also don't have counter target planeswalker. It doesn't work. People are not going to do this. Counter target creature or planeswalker. Wow, give that card to anyone and play against new players. They're gonna cry and leave the game and stop buying boosters. So this is the first thing that gets increased, the cost of countering spells. So despite that, I'm surprised enough that blue and control each player based on blue still go to top 8s. Then the second one, we're talking about Magic Theory right now. You're gonna stop me when you're bored with my old man words. The second
I just
one.
wonder if we should be talking a little bit more about the game right now.
Yeah, no, if it's just nothing else but just trading things, that's not really that's harder to comment. Control versus control is really useless to comment usually because right now what I can say is Teferi is definitely a game changer, and Case doesn't have Teferi.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I just also noticed though that as soon as I say this, that they're calling a judge. So maybe we need more time. I know they've continued.
yeah. So they just call a judge too, so they were on pause. So the second thing is creature removal. Do you remember? Not Darkblade. What is the
Doomblade, not Doomblade.
Doomblade. Yeah.
Terror.
Do you remember Terror and Doomblade? How long they have been printed? Pretty much continuously, almost continuously. Like in the end, it was Magic,
like 2 years ago, right?
Magic 2010, 11, and 12, I think, for Doomblade, and Doomblade was a common. Then Doomblade was an uncommon, and then there was no more Doomblade. And nowadays, when you draft and you find a creature removal, strictly removal, it's always black. It's always black, and it's always uncommon if it costs 4 mana, or sometimes 2 black mana, like Bake Into a Pie, for example, recently. Or you have to pay 5 mana. And sometimes it costs 6 mana, and you're like, I'm still going to play it. And that's crazy. That's crazy, because it's just about tempo on limited now, and you just have to play things that, Ikoria has a very good, impressively sets of removals. The conditional Doomblades with counters, and the white one also is interesting. But, it's still uncommon, and it's still going to be very situational. I mean, the single common creature removal that costs less than 4 does not exist anymore. Murder was in. Guess what happened to Murder? Murder was printed out, and then Murder came back. How? It was printed as an uncommon. And we had to wait for 1 year before Wizards finally said, maybe Murder can be printed as a common again. It was just a test, and it was just done once, and then it went back, So, also I'm still letting the old player names on the thing, and it's not good. And that was really, really interesting to see how much more the spot removal for creatures costs. Then there was 2 problems, and I'm going to finish on that. First, more and more planeswalkers. Each and every edition, planeswalkers. And then we had no removal. So Wizards of the Coast eventually started to do Dreadbore, which was the first real serious planeswalker ever, after changing the damage redirection and stuff like that. And then they started to put recurring planeswalker, the Elder Spell, for example, or the Murderous Rider, which we just mentioned a few games ago, Now it's become quite common. At some point, there's going to be a planeswalker removal as an uncommon, but this is symbolically not possible. And the other thing...
I think there was one in the Planeswalkers sets.
Maybe, I don't remember... on War of the Spark there was a planeswalker removal, an uncommon. Yeah, I don't remember its name, but there was one, and the Spark, and there was also a common one. You have to sacrifice a creature. the
Yeah,
spark thing.
there was one for like red black, sacrifice a creature.
Oh, Angri's Rampage.
Slaughter.
No, that's a
Yeah.
sacrifice. But the Spark Harvest, I think it is. Spark Harvest, you
Spark
just
Harvest.
you pay 5 or 1 black and sacrifice something to kill a planeswalker or nowhere. That's the first step. But that had to happen at some point, especially when you do an edition with 36 planeswalkers. And then planeswalkers on War of the Spark became rare and uncommon for the first time. And that was a marker too of the direction we're taking right now about creatures and planeswalkers. And then there was another thing. Nobody was playing red anymore. So in a world where everything has to grow, green grows, black grows, blue has to resist the other one, white has protection, everything grows. So red was just forgotten. So Wizards say, okay, we're going to pump it and make better blasts because, if creatures have now 3 instead of 2 and 4 instead of 3 power, you're going to have stronger blasts, right? But what happens when you just keep playing stronger blasts and stronger creatures? Then red takes over, and for 2 years we've had Pro Tour finals of top 8s, not finals, top 8s that were basically mono red. If you just look at 2016 and 2017 and 2018, red is definitely the most present colors in all the top 8. That was crazy. And I remember this as being one of the most blatantly lying and fun stuff to do. When Wizards of the Coast just released the top 8, I don't remember which one it was. I could find it back for you. It was a top 8 with exclusively mono rec and 1 Esper control deck, I think.
I think it was only last year, maybe.
I'm just going to... it was a Pro Tour. I think he was playing Esper control and... the rest of the 7 player was red. And because in these decks, 4 spells, exactly 4 spells, or 4 to 6 spells, were having 1 white mana, and sometimes only in the sideboard, or 1 black mana and only sideboard, Wizards of the Coast mentioned, yeah, it's Rakdos aggro, yes, it's Boros aggro. I was like, are you fucking kidding me or anyone? Who do you think you're kidding? This is just mono red. There's literally no other color than red. There's just 8 lands that produce black without any costs, or white without any cost, and they just added. Even one of them is in the sideboard.
Yeah.
That's so fucking crazy. And mono red just took over. So right now you're condemned to have mono red dominating the format. And also one fun thing is now you have people who don't really play tournaments on Arena, who just grind gold collection. So they're gonna play mono red all the time. If you look at what's dominating Magic Arena on standard rank, you're gonna see that until you go to the top players, everyone's just playing red. Why? Because you don't give a fuck. You lost a game in 3 minutes or 2 minutes. People, you just sometimes I was just like dropping something that gains life on turn 2. Opponents like scoop. Right, 20 to 20, right? Scoop. You sometimes you just play a land. You just play. I'm gonna play green black life gain. With excellent explore things that we just gain so much. And there's the 1/3 that just pumps up, so it blocks everything and gains 3 life every time. I forgot this thing, but
Walker or something.
Walker and the Jade Light Explorer and the other Merfolk. You just play that. I was just landing this on turn 2. Opponent was scoop. Next on a tournament that we just desperately tried to win, and at this point they didn't give a fuck. So I was really happy because everyone was playing mono red and I was playing this deck but again live. So I got up to mythic rank, I think, and then I stopped playing because I was not giving a fuck. But that was really cool. So that is what Magic is going to be in the next years. So
very much for standard and limited, right? But fortunately for us, we still have access to all of these sweet eternal formats like Dual Commander. I play like a lot of Vintage and Legacy, which are very much more the old style of Magic.
Well, you need to have many more things like that to shake the eternal formats. Like Narset, for example, and Titan Master was a good example. It went really fast and broken into the old formats where you just basically spend your time filtering, drawing 5 extra cards per turn, and then trying to land a thing, play a Mox, and try to win on vintage, and Narset was like, this is breaking everyone's formats, and it was limited in the end. Also, the mechanics that are pretty fair in fair formats, like Delve, but that are not cool at all in Eternal formats. Like, if you remember Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time, it was like, yeah, but no. And what about the other one? Yeah, but no, but slightly later on we just limited them both because it's just crazy. And we had to do the same in Commander, actually. We had to... So yeah. There's a problem now because someone didn't draw and they are wondering... they're not going back in time because the judge say you just missed a draw, so this is correct. You have to draw, but that would change the too many things. So it's gonna draw now to compensate it because they want to maintain mostly the number of cards because that's part of the game state, and part of the game state is this doesn't bring any information that was hidden to your opponent, and this you have to draw this card. So whatever happens, it should be drawn on the deck, and nothing prevents it from being drawn earlier on the game or not being drawn. You didn't shuffle since then, so I think you didn't shuffle. There was no fetch.
A random card is a random card, whether or not it's first or second or third or seventh, So I think it's a fine fix there from the judge team.
So yeah, the judge say please go back to playing like that, and and they're giving 5 minutes of additional time to play.
Yeah. Now I wonder what you think about taking the logic knot here. I might have missed something, but I think Treachery is what won the first game. Treachery targeting Kess. So why are we seeing the logic knot taken here as a priority from the Thoughtseize?
Oh, sorry, I was just rearranging the graveyard.
So in the first game, we saw the Verena player winning by taking the Kess with Treachery, and I'm just really interested to hear what you think about the decision to take the logic knot over the Treachery. Yeah.
Oh, you don't really care about Treachery because you can blast your own creature, and actually you don't really get advantage on a control deck that is not designed like Kess to use any sorcery each and every one of turn. So if you look at his graveyard, for example, the player that plays Verena, you could just not play this. Force of Negation is useless. Logic Knot is useless. Concealed Judgment could be useful, but there's nothing to play with. And Demonic Tutor would be a good idea, but then you get to exile it only once, so you can take it. And Duress would mean they only got lands in hand, so you can Duress me and I don't give a fuck. Same for Inquisition. So that's a risk taken. And of course, the difference is Kess plays no creature almost, so they have a very much higher chance to pass a spell, like an extra draw or something, than to play a creature and say, oh no, my god, they took it with Treachery. And of course, untapping the land is not a problem to you. So,
I guess the other thought is you can play the Thoughtseize in flashback from the Kess to take the Treachery after you've resolved it.
That's what's going to happen now. He's just playing Kess back. He knows they got no counterspell. You always remove the counterspell first because counterspell removed when you know the hand is like, I know what I'm going to do next, and I've got my plan, and you cannot grind my gears. It's just strictly going away. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I thought that they could have played all of that last turn, but maybe I was miscounting.
So he played. Actually, the thing is, Hieroglyphic Illumination costs 4, so Inquisition of Kozilek is useless. So yeah. Verena is gonna create creatures, I suppose. No? It's just going to draw. Yeah. It's just going to what is happening now?
Just the judge offering an explanation on the ruling. This one is pretty straightforward, I think, so we don't need a further explanation.
Oh, he just yeah. No, sorry, he was just playing Thoughtseize, and then he just cycles an answer because it was the last card, so he was just wanted to have an answer, and it's just not to keep it, so he made it this card. The what is it? Where is it? I missed something. Hieroglyphic combination. Yeah, it's here.
Yeah.
What is it?
I think Falakar is quite favored here. The Varina's coming in with the zombie tokens.
Well, the bit down is better on the Esper deck, of course. So, of course, and
Yeah.
creating tokens in answer to having your commander handled is probably not a thing you want to see. So
And we see the cryptic command as well. I think this is probably just game over.
yeah, and I think it's going to be 2-1 for Falakar.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to show all the lands because he's got more lands than this. And he's putting the lands under the windows here. And that's going to be a win.
Yeah.
If you can count to 3, 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. Call against command doesn't do a thing, right?
No, I don't think so. Returning a creature from the graveyard.
Oh, she's still playing Catacombs.
Destroying an artifact. 2 damage.
I don't
Yeah.
picture him bringing anything back from the graveyard.
Yeah, I think like he can only really just play the Kess, and I don't even think the Kess really matters. We're just going to be making some more zombie tokens end of turn.
Yeah, also the 4/4 body of Verina is really too much.
Yeah.
Alright, Fallon push.
I think we can just let this resolve. If I'm the Verina player, just make 1 more zombie token, and then that's still lethal attack. And you still have the cryptic command available for another spell.
He's just gonna bounce and counter, yeah.
Yeah, bounce and counter is also good. I'm just wondering, like, is there another card which T-Pex could have here? Maybe it's a little bit
whatever the
safer
card
just
would
to
be,
make
it would just handle the stack, and then you still get attacked by Tutus.
Yeah.
Because he's got the mana to create another one, 9 cards in the graveyard, so he's create another 1 zombie, and then he attacks with everyone. Case blocks 1, and he takes 4. So whatever.
Yeah.
That is exactly what he's saying in the chat. He's saying in all the case I could just make another zombie and kill you with that. So.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. I think that's that match wrapped up.
Yeah. As soon as someone gives up.
Yeah.
I have to find the next game lobby, which is being created at the same time, I think. No, not yet. Alright, so I'm just going to bring a post screen again. I should be eating, but I'm not really hungry right now, so...
I've been making some Indian curries. It's been really nice. That's what I had for lunch today.
I never cook, actually. I just ate some shit on middays. I just measure the intensity of how food is going to disturb me by the dishes it generates, so...
Yeah. That's, I made a lot of dishes.
Alright, so I'm gonna give the password too for the next one.
Cool.
And thing is that we got the password but not the game, so...
And
So-
T-Pex has conceded the game. Cool. So we're going into the the other
Semifinals. Yeah.
Yep. So Mr. Monopoly against Solar Sony. So just for the viewers, Solar Sony on that combo deck, looking to go infinite with Underworld Breach or Oriok Salvages, and Mr. Monopoly with the aggressive paired commanders. So that's 4 colors, right? Green, red. Sorry, green, black, blue, red. On his deck. So he's looking to play efficient and aggressive creatures. Should be quite an interesting match.
I'm just pondering about the solutions that the Real Chrome player has against the combo deck. There are not that many solutions. Should be a... I mean, if we just discuss about perfect hands for both players, right? Yeah. I think Kenrith is the win, but that's...
Well, Kenrith can have turn 1 win, right?
Oh, turn 1 win. I wouldn't go on that. Turn 1 win.
I'm sure, because you have like Lotus Petal land, Underworld Breach, Lion's Eye Diamond, Sacrifice Lion's Eye Diamond,
and Salvagers.
Brain Freeze yourself, right? Like that's infinite. So I think, on a perfect hand, I'll take the Kenrith side of that.
That could be. You know, I'm still playing Reanimator that can really do good things on people. You remember 2 years ago we just unleashed the Fastborn again, mostly because I pushed it. That's something. That's my favorite card in Magic Gathering. So I just like, yeah, let's try Fastborn. And we're like, all right, that was not forced, right? It doesn't work like that. The community is not childish like that. But we just felt bad. It has been so long since Fastborn was not legal. The thing is, the card is not that broken, and the thing is, people don't understand why it is not that broken. So we had to remove it again. Mostly because of the Gitrog monster, for example, and that was all. It was not broken, but there was, as you can guess, a tournament with 100 people, and someone in the room with lots of people around, watching, was like, yeah, turn 1 Fastborn, boom, turn 1 Gitrog, how you deal with that? And just sort of approaches, right? And you're dead, and that works. And
it is a very powerful effect.
It is crazy. But people don't understand that it's a completely dead card on the end if you don't play like a combo deck that revolves around it like they do. So usually it's doing nothing in the late turn. Maybe Gitrog monster is one of the rare decks that could take advantage from it. Titania doesn't need it, and Gitrog doesn't need it. It's just faster. But the thing is, because of Vox Populi, you had to sometimes say, all right, just remove it again, and we would not start a shitstorm on that. Just like for Vial Smasher, the Fierce or stuff like that. Because the community didn't adapt. And the fun thing is, it was legal for 3 months, and absolutely no one won the tournament thanks to it. It just performed well, as expected. It's broken cards. But it was not that insane, So I'm waiting for the game 6 to be created, and see it right now.
Yeah, so the 6 is created, but it only has 1 player.
And I'm gonna join, and
I need the code.
You don't have the pass, right?
Yeah. Cool.
So I was talking about Fastborn and stuff. I had opened a parenthesis and it just interrupted me, so I'm just dead now. I don't know where I was going to end.
See, I'm looking at, just to change the topic completely, I'm looking at the Rayon and Karom deck list, just thinking about this question you were talking about, perfect hands, right? So what do we really want to have? I think Liliana of the Veil could be really nice, just to reduce your opponent's number of cards available. Sorcerer's Spyglass could be a way to...
I found, thanks to Liliana of the Veil, I just found my thought process back. So yeah.
Cool. I'll let you continue.
and we're on the format, so everyone was just like, yeah, you should not do crazy stuff on turn 1. And I was like, on a tournament recently that I was playing, I want... Dark Ritual is in the format, right? So, turn 1 Swamp, Dark Ritual, Liliana of the Veil, everyone discards, you and I, so you got to fight Liliana of the Veil without having a single permanent on the battlefield. You didn't even play your first turn. And I've got Griselbrand in the graveyard. And turn 2, I go animate dead, your turn. And players like, yeah, you won. Another one I did is turn 1, because I play a deck that really revolves around this mechanic. Turn 1, Dark Ritual. I've got Iona Shield of Emiria on hand, so I got Thoughtseize myself, discard Liliana of the Dead, and reanimate it. Take 8, or 9, I don't remember how much it cost, but it costs too much, and I take half my way through. And I go, Iona, your main color is this one, your main color, go.
Yeah.
That is not cool, and you know what? This is in the format. Another one is turn 1 Bazaar of Baghdad, or turn 2 Bazaar of Baghdad, whatever it is. You draw this card and you say, all right, reanimate for 1 and go. That's another one. Everything is in this format. I play a deck like that. I can show you my deck list, but it's really dumb. And people don't see that because it's not mainstream, you know. But if you just get to bring a tournament where you play fast bound and you go turn 1, some crazy stuff, then people say, wow, the card is so broken that you can win. And people get to win about the same, whine about balance, about all those single cards like that. The thing is, there are too many cards like that in this format. You can go strictly stupid.
Sure.
And Kenrith is just demonstrating how stupid the deck can be. It's just the same thing, you know. You could, you could just potentially trade Kenrith for another commander like Golos or whatever you want it to be, Child of Arif, if it pleases you, and the deck would close to be the same. The commander, of course, helps being another win condition, but it's you have to deal with that, you know. So we're just trying to keep a good playing experience, but it's not always easy. And yes, for example, if you hate Fastbound, I still play Exploration, and Exploration still leads to some pretty busted outs if you have 4 lands in hand. So.
Yeah, for sure.
That's also a thing you can do. Also, like we saw, classic aggressive outs like draw a lot, play a lot of cards, and got nothing, got no land. Balance, and your opponent's like, yeah, I had plans, you know, and my hand was full, and all right, but you just reset the game in the dumb way when you do this. Upheaval.
The problem with that people find with Fast Bond specifically is it's a card that's basically a 1-card combo with lands, whereas all of these other things that we're talking about requires like a lot of different sort of cards to come together.
Yeah.
And I think that's why people have a problem with it. I could understand why it would not be banned. I think it would be fine to be legal, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's always complicated, but the problem with Fastbound is that lands, as still originated as magic valuing mechanics, are the most solid, permanent, perpetual, structurally designed way to get resources. So when you get thousands of them, you're basically starting with many turns ahead of your people. But people don't understand that if your deck is playing Fastbound, you're probably not going to play some fucking 1,000 extra draws. So if you just, like I said, if you just go get Rogue Monster turn 1 and play it, and then it just dies to a Need Swords to Plowshare or turn 2 to anything else, then you still didn't do anything. Especially when the deck like Get Rogue Monster play 45 lands or something like that. It's just stupid, you know, your opponent's still stuck. And I remember when Fastbound was legal and I won a game like that, playing against some very old school Magic, like it was Joira, the Gitu, whatever, Lord the Gitu, I just don't remember. The first Joira.
The one that makes
suspension. Suspend on anything that you want to exile from your hand for 2. And the guy was playing really immensely huge spell, and he was also the guy who has misplayed a lot of game 1, like resolving Wildfire the wrong way, like guessing an Eldrazi first, then killing everything, like, and the judge just went to the table saying, no, you just did it, right? So yeah, no one's got cards and you're at 1, good luck. and on game 3, everyone was watching me at the table and I went like, you're dead. Fastbound all right, the guy said, yeah, that's your turn, turn one. So land, fast bond, land, my commander, and I don't remember, an Argothian enchantress. And turn two, I was playing privileged position. So turn two, privileged position, draw a card, and everything is just untargetable but the privileged position. The opponents get one island, like. And then I start pumping Genera, adding counters on it, and I was like, I think I won. And opponent this, think you do. and that kind of outs is just a very poor game experience. But how many times do you do this? I swear I have been testing goldfishing this deck for ages. It's less than 5%, if not less than 1% of the time. You can accept that. I mean,
I don't want to start like a should this card be banned conversation.
No, it's not. It's not. You can, but it's.
Legal, then like.
Yeah, high tide is a late example. It just does something stupid on the late game or mid game at least sometimes. But the thing is, what is a good clear example when you're playing against this Brago, for example, and you get turn 1 counterspell, turn 2 counterspell, turn 3 counterspell, turn 4 counterspell, and you got nothing else to go out with. Just like you get to play turn 5 your commander, like, yeah, my commander is Ludovic, is a 4/4 haste, Chrome Experiment, so like, yes, it's just attacking, and you just, oh, I got more answers. And how good is your experience when you do that? And also, if you play Mana Dorks, right, you got no answers to Massive Board Sweeping, no Pyroclasm, no Deafening Clarion, whatever. You just go turn 1 Elf, turn 2 Elf, or Birds, of whatever you need, and turn 3 you got 6 mana, and you can go Primeval Titan is not really a good thing, but Nissa, whatever you want it to be, and you get so much advantage. And if your opponent has nothing, is playing like Mono White or Mono Red, for example, and it's just like, yeah, I was just basically trying to play 3-3-4-2 and get advantage for that. And you started, so I've got a 3-3-4-2, and you've got 10 to 12 power on battlefield and 12 mana available already. So yeah, so that's not a really good player experience as well, But how many of those experiences exist? It's
so many. And the thing is, though, that Magic is an inherently imbalanced game. Lightning Bolt is good against Birds of Paradise, right? So
yeah. They fly so high they take the storms on the head.
yeah. The very classic example, but there are just going to be matchups where like you're very favored or very not favored, where you design your deck to be good against control decks, but you play against mono red for 5 rounds, and the amount of variance in the game leads to really interesting choices in deck building, but also replayability, right? If every match was the same, if every tournament was the same, then we would get bored of this game very quickly. And it's another thing that Commander really sort of brings to the table, is that added variance of playing 100-card decks, and the metagame and the field of potential opposing commanders, as well as the different builds of those commanders. We were talking about before, like
and also when you got no sideboard, how deceiving is your experience when you cannot even have so good tools against that. We just saw an example with the Rest in Peace a few minutes ago. What
that was sort of like a build your own sideboard.
Yeah. So that's why we introduced the commander swap rule. That is one of the very rare structural additions that we're doing above, superposed above classic commander, multiplayer commander. So, they're starting the game right now.
Hey, we have a match.
We have the one before the last match.
Looking through this deck list, and I really can't think any cards which the partner deck wants to have here. Like Liliana to reduce the hand size, as I was saying before, plus like he doesn't even play Sorties or Duress. I think it's really just going to come down to how fast can Mr. Monopoly come out with his aggressive creatures, and can he deal 20 points of damage before Solusoni sets up a combo?
I would say what creatures could be annoying for him, and I'm just trying to look at them.
I think.
I mean, apart from the aggressive plan, right? Like, for example, oh, that's something really amazing. Robber of the Rich. If you can attack and have less cards than your opponent, which is not going to happen because Kenrith is going to empty his hand faster. But if you can just randomly attack with Robber and say, oh, I found a Landside Diamond.
Yeah,
that is a win. You know? Scavenging Ooze is decent.
Could be good in some situations, yeah.
Leovold does not do anything like we just said.
It could be like a little bit slowing him down, maybe.
I'm not sure. He's not playing the. He's not abusing it. Brazen Borer is a one-shot delay.
Vendilion Click to
Vendilion Click, yeah.
But there isn't much, right? It's maybe 4 or 5 cards. Which...
Reclamation Sage is fine. It's not blocking, just delaying.
Can you give it flash?
No, but if we just end up in a situation like we saw last game for Solusoni, where he just played turn 1 Landside Diamond and then stand on it and do nothing, that is a potentially good thing to do.
Yeah.
I would say, of course, Liliana's ultimates are crazy, but not really gonna happen. Oko could be a thing.
Oh, yeah.
If you can exchange control of any artifacts or creature you control, and what, like if Salvagers or anything just gets played, you can turn them into elks or play a random artifact and exchange control. That would be decent, I suppose. And I don't think the rest is going to work. Sorcerer's Spyglass works fine.
Yeah.
Sorcerer's Spyglass is main deck, so is a good thing, you know. Songs of a Dryad could be fine if you don't